The history books, they tell of their defeat in 45. They all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. They say the prisoner of Spandau was a symbol of defeat. Whilst Hess remained in prison, then the fascists they would beat. So the promise of an Aryan world would never materialize. So why did they all come out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died? The world is riddled with maggots. The maggots are getting fat. They're making a tasty meal of all the bosses and bureaucrats. They're taking over the boardrooms and they're fat and full of pride. And they all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. So if you meet with these historians, I'll tell you what to say. Tell them that the Nazis never really went away. They're out there burning houses down and peddling racist lies. And we'll never rest again until every Nazi dies.
Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. The invasion had begun. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. But I feel my time has come, and if I die here for the resistance, oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. And if I die here for the resistance, you must lay me in my grave among the flowers upon the mountain. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Among the flowers upon the mountain, let me rest among the brave. Someday the people will pick the flowers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Someday the people will pick the flowers, and they will remember my name. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of our resistance, and those who died for liberty.
Come all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
My daddy was a miner and I'm a miner's son, and I'll stick with the Union till every battle's won.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
They say in Harlan County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a Union man or a thug for J.H. Blair.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Oh, workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Will you be a lousy scab or will you be a man?
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Don't scab for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. Us poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
I was born in the Dublin street where the lion runs do beat, and the lovely English people walked all over us. And every single night when they tell come home tight, he'd invite the neighbours out with his chorus. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lace of Gilshandra. Come tell us how you slew them old Arabs 2 by 2. Like the Zulus, they had knives, bows, and arrows. Of how bravely you faced one with your 16-pounder gun, and you frightened all the natives to the marrow. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lakes of Gilshandra. Come let us hear you tell how you stand the brave Parnell and taught them well and truly persecuted. Where are the stares and jeers that you proudly let us hear when our heroes of 16 were executed? Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lakes of Gilshandra.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch all with the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch all with the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead.
Oh, come out, you pretty sons, come out and fight without your guns. Show your wife how you...
Hello there, fellow politics fans. How are we all? Yeah, how are we getting on? It's too fucking hot. Apologies if you can hear the fan. That's it has to happen. I might die otherwise, so you're just gonna have to fucking put up with it. Yes, but other than that, how are we? Chitty chat. How are we getting along? Are we well? I am a sweaty piglet. This is very true. I can't help but feel like you're sexualising me a little bit there, and I'm okay with it. Right, where are we? Use microphone. Yes, allow whilst using this site. Jesus Christ. I don't know why it has to ask me every fucking time. Get to fuck. Go on. Yes, yeah, we've got some award-winning journalism. And then I'm going to get hammered and watch the football at 1 in the fucking morning, because that's normal. It's all very normal on the normal island. Yes. Also, I'm watching the Brazil-Norway game. It's currently 0-0 at half-time. And honestly, I genuinely think this is the worst Brazil team I've ever seen. They could still end up doing something in the tournament, but they are fucking toothless. Not that no one's coming here to listen to me talk about football, really. What they are coming here to do is to give me money. Lots of money, in the form of bits and subs and subscriptions and super chats. And all of that jazzy jazz. Oh, sweaty, sweaty, sweaty boy. Yes, we have a posh bird en route. so to speak. Apologies for being a bit French there. Yeah. Oi, oi.
Good evening, Kevin. How are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad. Are we enjoying the incredible transparency of FIFA today?
I personally love the new World Cup winners, America. Yay!
They're actually going full South Korea over it. It's quite funny.
It is a little bit ludicrous, yes. For those who don't know, having spent the week complaining that the Supreme Court has allowed birthright citizens to remain as American citizens, which is interesting given that he sort of is that, given that his mum was an illegal immigrant from Scotland, of course. He has personally intervened to request that FIFA allow a birthright citizen, Balogun, to play for the United States, even though he got quite rightly sent off. This is the most nakedly corrupt, the most nakedly corrupt World Cup ever. Basically, this is absolutely fucking disgusting. Really, just shut it down now, lads. It's over.
If they don't get absolutely fucking hammered by Belgium, I'm gonna be so upset.
Well, no, because they'll deserve the 6 penalties they're going to get. Definitely, yeah. I, for one, personally think that Balogun is the greatest player ever, and I look forward to his 12 goals in the World Cup final.
Enough goals so they can pass Kylian Mbappe in the World Cup all-time scoring.
Well, I hope that Messi gets to keep that just for like this tournament, because Mbappe's going to be there for the next like 2 or 3. So let Messi just have it for this 4-year cycle, for fuck's sake.
Literally. I must say, I'm very glad that my favourite sport is cricket. Because, I mean, well...
Oh yeah, because there's no corruption going on in cricket. No.
Like the MCC isn't perfect, but like, come on, at least it's not FIFA.
That is true. That is true. But I just like the idea that the ICC would be trying to get Trump to get the Cricket World Cup in America or something, and him going, "That's terror! I can't believe he gave him out LBW. I want this reversed."
I mean, if we're going to talk into the most corrupt board is the BCCI.
Oh God, of course, yeah. Like, I genuinely, India is one of the most delightfully corrupt countries, because it's
incredible.
It's a little bit like our old friend from Uganda, who was going on about, if it's,
corruption is not bad.
Exactly. Only if I'm involved, and if I'm involved, I defend it. Not to be too racist with the accent there, but yeah, no. In India, like, I forget who it was. It was like one of the state adjudicators, or whatever the fuck it was in India, who was basically like trying to set down limits for the amount of corruption you're allowed to do. I'm just like, at least that's a realistic goal, because saying we have a zero tolerance policy on corruption in India is ludicrous. It's like saying we have a zero tolerance policy on eating samosas. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's not reality. So yeah, you can do a bit of corruption, but let's keep it in check, lads. Don't go fucking crazy.
Yeah, my favourite fact about India, I think they have some of the most bribable police officers in the world.
Yeah.
Like, crime is effectively legal because you can bribe literally every police officer in India.
Yeah.
And that's a country of 1.5 billion people.
Yeah. And it's so corrupt, the government can just decide, oh no, we're just going to have new banknotes and everyone has to queue up forever. And these banknotes aren't worth anything anymore. Which was ironically stopped corruption very briefly, because the banknotes they used to bribe people with were worthless all of a sudden. So, there was a little bit of a kind of double-edged sword on that one. But then again,
the BCCI they got what they deserved when they the 2012 England-India series, or I think my 2013, where they said no DRS allowed for LBW in this series, and then of course Stuart Ball gets a hat-trick with the most insane inside edge.
Yes, I think it was Harbhajan Singh, if I recall correctly, who
it was indeed Harbhajan Singh,
pretty much middled it into his own front leg, and somehow was given LBW by.
Because Erasmus is terrible, really bad at his job.
I was about to say, I think Stevie Wonder was umpiring that day. Absolutely wonderful work. Well done. Yeah. Anyway,
so for the Market Gal, the BCCI is the Board for Cricket Control in India.
Yes, indeed, sir. Note, not cricket administration, just cricket control. Yeah. But I mean, look, it'd be remiss of us, I think, to talk about corruption elsewhere without saying that in the West we do corruption all the fucking time. We just call it different things. We call it,
Lobbying.
Lobbying or political donations. Paying for your security, that sort of thing. That's interesting. It's nice to see that Farage, finally, it only took the British media 30 years to do any actual scrutiny of Nigel Farage. And all of a sudden it turns out he's massively corrupt. Who knew?
Incredible. I mean, like, loads of this. What's funny is I was talking to Lewis from Turn Left on the stream last night, pointing out that basically all of the hard yards for a lot of this stuff has come from independent journalists who've just handed it to Pogrund and Maguire. And they've just posted it online going, look at the hard work we did, and also the lawyers that we can afford because of the highly sensitive nature of the reporting here that all of the independent journalists can't, which I think is quite funny.
Yeah, no, I talked with him on Turn Left on the Normal Island show on Friday, so yesterday, and I just kept saying, like, this is how you get car bombed. Like, you're getting too close to the truth here, friend. This is when you get, like, it's interesting the number of investigative journalists that have very strange accidents happen to them, isn't it?
It is, like the one from the Panama Papers, literally got car bombed.
Literally,
forgot.
Yeah. Or they fall out of windows quite a lot, or they get very depressed and definitely commit suicide honest all the time. Yeah.
Like, I remember the Boeing whistleblower that just fucking died.
Yeah. Well, what was the one? Who was it that was officially ruled suicide, even though he was shot in the back of the head?
I don't know.
There was someone in chat will remember that story. Yeah, there was some person who'd outed some whistleblower type thing, and was shot in the back of the head. So executed. The word is executed there, and it was officially ruled suicide. Because that's definitely how I'd do it. I'd somehow boomerang my own arm back and fire a bullet into the back of my head to ensure accuracy. Fuck's sake. Absolutely mad. It's very Blackadder. The previous MP accidentally murdered himself by stabbing himself in the stomach in a shaving accident. Like, come on.
Oh, how was that? Was it Jess Phillips?
Who's this, sorry?
Was it Jess Phillips?
Jess Phillips killed herself. What?
No, stabbed someone in the front.
Oh no, she stabbed other people in the front. Yeah, this wasn't a shaving accident. No. This was intentional. Jess from down the road. Absolutely useless piece of shite.
As opposed to Al Khan's from Scotland.
Yeah, Al Khan's from Scotland and or Westminster, but definitely not Birmingham. Never, like, literally, he's as Birmingham as Nigel Farage is fucking Clacton. I nearly said Southend, and actually it's a different part of fucking Essex, although equally shite. Yeah, I said it, Southenders, deal with it. It's not a beach. What you have there is a fucking condom-strewn rock pile that's on the side of a river. If I can see land on the other side, it's not a fucking sea, you're on a river. Deal with it. Sorry. Anyway, where was I? I've forgotten. What was the question?
I don't even know what I was talking about now.
No, it doesn't matter.
People like Kieran are getting mad at me on threads again.
Well, you do keep saying real things to them, and they don't like it. Did you see? I mean, I don't know. Did you watch his interview on stream last night?
No, I was going to, but then I spent 2 hours talking with Lewis.
Fair enough.
I don't really have time.
Fair enough.
Because Lewis had. It turns out there's way more information than the Times article says about like Farage and George Cottrell. And apparently they had a meeting with a Kazakh billionaire and his aide and someone's lawyer and the wife of the guy from Brewdog.
Oh, nice. Beautiful. No, it isn't a sea. Shut the fuck up. It's a river. It's the River Thames. It's not the sea.
It's an estuary.
You can cut. Well, I don't care. I don't care. It's a river. I can see Kent on the other side. It's a fucking river. Southend's pier is so long it's got a train on it. Yeah, it's also almost always on fire. So, like, what? How long was it burnt down for before they redid it? It was like 20 years. Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's not go too regional with them. Oh yeah. So I'll save you the bother of watching the actual interview because it's bollocks. But like, there was one clip I definitely did want to show, just to show you like, he's pathological liar.
I mean, can we? I mean, I'm happy to watch the whole thing, right?
If you want to, yeah, we can do that as well. Yeah.
Because I was going to, and then I just, I kind of got through.
I mean, we definitely don't have time for both, though. I think.
I mean, we could do. I mean, maybe we should do the Starmer interview from yesterday, and we can do Robert Jenrick on Laura Koonsberg.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do Bobby J. Okay.
Because I mean, the Bobby J stuff is very, very topical, given.
Also, the other ones, like it's who else is on there? Fucking Lord, what's his face? Lord Blunkett, who I thought was dead. so there we go. I mean, he's dead inside, obviously, but you know.
Oh, it's Clara, of course he is. Thank you, Nick, for the 5 gifties. Appreciate the support.
Yes. So Keir Starmer, he's just a pathological bullshitter on basically everything.
And also on the panel we have Keir Starmer's Director of Communications, Michael fucking Gove, and for some reason Christiane Amanpour. So I don't know what's going on there. Is she
back from America now permanently or what? What's up with her?
I don't even know. I mean, maybe she records from CNN in the UK. I mean, she got Zach Polanski in the studio and he doesn't fly. So.
Well, you say he doesn't fly. Does he not fly because of green concerns or because of like Dennis Birdcamp concerns?
Green concerns.
Okay.
And there's James Murray, who is just like Megamind but boring.
Like literally, he is Keir Starmer. If Keir Starmer wasn't actually Keir Starmer,
he's even more dull. Like he's even more dull than Keir Starmer.
Literally,
and just as transphobic.
Yeah, he is. If a briefcase was made into a partially real boy,
he is a sentient briefcase. It is basically true. And then was there even a Tory representative on the thing today? It didn't seem like there was.
Yeah. You can see France over Dover from the River Channel. Well, I mean, look, France isn't real. That's just a story we tell to kids to scare them. Like Jesus. Thank you, Mr. Peter Wood, for resubscribing for however many months. 20 months, you crazy bastard. God bless you. Yeah, you can give me money, chat, if you wanted to. Someone did. Nick with 5 memberships on the YouTube. Thank you. Yes. Let's take a look at these two strapping young gentlemen have a chat, shall we?
Also, before we start watching this video, it's worth pointing out I have to talk about Kieran on Threads all over again. I do apologise for bringing this up because it's just too funny. Okay. So they're all convinced that Chris Mason is like a deep state agent out to destroy Keir Starmer's career rather than a journalist doing journalism. And the amount of comments I saw about this interview going, oh, I'm so glad they did it with Henry Zeffman because he's not like that Chris Mason. And I'm just like, weirdo centrists had this like massive like hate boner for Chris Mason for no fucking reason. It was very funny.
Well, Chris Mason is a Tory, there's no doubt about that, but like...
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes
maybe shit. Yeah, exactly, yeah, it's the BBC, it's been completely captured, yeah.
Robbie Gibbon shit.
Yeah. But thankfully we've got a Labour government that have totally changed that. Oh, no, they haven't. Oh. Okay.
We'll put someone from Google in charge of it.
Yeah.
Second anniversary in the job this weekend. You're not going to have a third anniversary.
Lovely opening line. Lovely opening line. And he's taken it with the good grace you would expect. Face like a slapped arse.
When you think back to walking up that street as Prime Minister for the first time, is it a sweet memory or is it bittersweet?
It's a very sweet memory. It was an incredible occasion. It was the first Labour government for 14 years. I was the Prime Minister. Only 3 Labour Prime Ministers have ever won a majority, and we just won a majority. And so it was a joyous occasion. It was fantastic. The street was covered with so many people who'd worked with me on the campaign. And
okay, 3 before him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
okay, so I'll let him off with that one thing.
Did Harold Wilson ever get a majority? I thought he operated on minorities both times.
No, Harold
was a majority in '66 and a was a majority.
Harold Wilson won 2 majorities and 1 minority. Blair won 3 majorities in a row.
Yes, and Clement Attlee got
Clement Attlee got majority, yeah, and the other one was MacDonald in the 1920s, who was a minority leader, who then sided with the Tories and joined a national coalition government.
Yeah, he did indeed. Also worth pointing out too. So, obviously, it was a Labour majority government off the lowest share of the vote of any majority government in British history. So, a uniquely unpopular majority.
Yeah.
Again, electoral manipulation and the total collapse of the Tories and the spoiler effect of reform is basically the only reason this guy is prime minister.
Yeah.
And when it comes to Labour prime ministers and Labour majorities, I mean, I think this isn't a Labour majority government. This is a Starmer majority government because this isn't a Labour party, and neither was Blair. So
Well, it's not
it's
even-
still we are almost 50 years and counting since the last Labour government.
Well, it's not even a Starmer majority. Like, you can say with Blair, he did have a personal charisma and like support in the nation. He was a popular leader when it began. Obviously, Iraq changed a lot of that, but he was quite popular. Had a personal cachet with the nation. Whereas this wasn't even a Starmer majority. This was a anyone but the fucking Tories majority.
It was a McSweeney majority, basically, because a lot of the prospectus was the lies that he told.
Pretty much, yeah. Hello there, Zach App. How are you? Everyone will go and follow Zach App immediately, otherwise I will stab you with love. I think that covers it TOS-wise. Definitely. Yes. I'm Kevin Logan, a socialist from the UK. We do exist. We do indeed. And I'm with No Justice MTG, who is basically, like, how do I describe her? She's like the best journalist ever. So
I'm pretty fucking good.
yeah,
It's true.
literally.
Vic was there, obviously, with me, and we had brought our children in round the back. We have obviously never named them, never let them be photographed, but they were hidden in the crowd.
If only he could have brought in the one he actually loves, Vitali. You know.
No, whoa. How dare you spurn Jenny Chapman like that?
True. Although he does make her put on a Ukrainian accent as well. It's his thing. He's got a type, you know.
Out there. So it was a really fantastic occasion and a very proud moment, because to become Prime Minister of the United Kingdom is a huge privilege, and so it was a very, very special day.
And do you see, as part of your legacy, as you leave office, or leave two offices, I should say, as leader of the Labour Party and Prime Minister, to what extent do you see your leadership of the Labour Party as core to your legacy?
I think it's absolutely core, and you can't sort of see the last 2 years if you don't take into consideration the last 6 years.
Yeah, you purged people and stitched up selections, and it came back to bite you in the arse. Well done.
Yeah, you took £700,000 of undeclared illegal donations for Labour Together from your chief of staff. You literally expelled people for liking tweets from Nicola Sturgeon. You expelled far more Jewish members than were ever expelled under any other Labour leader. Again, purely for factional reasons. Having said that you wouldn't do that in the leadership election, you explicitly said you wouldn't do that. Yet another lie to lie on the floor, covered in broken pledges and torn up promises, that is emblematic of Starmerism as an ideology, because that's all it is, right? His ideology is lie to win. That's it. Doesn't matter what the ends are, because the ends don't matter, because he doesn't believe in any vision. All he cares about is winning at the expense of everybody else, and he doesn't, no matter how many moral lines he crosses to get there.
Yeah, exactly. It's very right-wing in that respect. It's all raw, naked power and nothing else.
That's why they say power and not office.
Yeah.
Because I took over the Labour Party just after we'd lost the 2019 election. That was the
With more votes than you got.
Yes.
worst defeat for a Labour Party since 1935.
And they got more votes than you got.
Indeed they did. And of course it's also worth pointing out that the spoiler effect happened in the other way, because it was Nigel Farage spoiling Corbyn rather than Nigel Farage spoiling Rishi Sunak at that election, right?
Yeah.
And we were politically, financially, and morally bankrupt.
No, you weren't. You weren't financially bankrupt. You weren't morally bankrupt. You're just full of shit on every
Yeah, this
level.
is like-
Look,
yeah.
you're look. For a start, he'd paid off the debts, and you had a massive A massive
Surplus.
membership and surplus indeed, yeah, in the bank. And that's after a general election, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. And you're literally doing a genocide. You're still doing a genocide. Can someone inform this prick he's still doing a fucking genocide?
Exactly. And again, the moral line here is that he supports Israel, the people that he expelled and purged from the party didn't, and that's it.
Yep.
That's the moral line that he thinks that was broken by the previous iteration of the Labour Party, and actually I think genocide is worse. Just gonna put that out there. I think having your hands caked in the blood of children is a significantly worse moral line than opposing that thing.
Yes.
We had the stain of anti-Semitism, and we weren't trusted by the public on the economy, on defence and security, and on immigration. And most people at that point said,
And again, they still got more votes than you did.
Yep.
the Labour Party's finished. It'll never win again. That political parties have a
No
lifespan,
one said that.
and the Labour Party have come to the end of.
No one said that. I am saying that now about this Labour Party. I was not saying it then.
No, exactly. Like they still had hundreds of seats.
Yeah.
They still got like 33% of the vote. Like it was a unique set of circumstances that allowed the loss to be as large as it was, given those kind of smaller margins that we were seeing there. And likewise, again, it's that same distortion of vote share to seats won that lent Keir Starmer his loveless landslide. It's the same thing. So the idea that somehow a party with hundreds of thousands of members, what was it, 600,000 members that it had under Corbyn,
Yeah.
and 33% of the vote and seats up and down the country, because it's somehow never going to win again, like that's just total nonsense. Especially given that same party got 40% of the vote in 2017.
Yep.
of its lifespan. I never accepted that. I stepped up in April 2020, but the first task was to clean up and fix my party.
Clean up is an interesting way of saying purging anyone who disagrees with me. Or should I say, disagrees with Morgan McSweeney.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? I mean, that's what Morgan McSweeney said in his interview with Nick Robinson, his pathetic interview with Nick Robinson, where Nick Robinson didn't scrutinise him at all as a former BBC political editor, but whatever, essentially said that what needed fixing about the party was that it was too busy looking inward rather than looking towards the country, which is insane, and I crashed out because, yeah, they spent 5 years purging internal stuff from the party rather than developing policy, which is why the country's up shit creek.
Yeah,
That is.
They did nothing but look inward. They did nothing but purge. The reason they didn't have a plan for government is because all they ever did, all that project ever was to do, was to get rid of the left.
Yep.
And now they've got nothing.
To tear out anti-Semitism, to turn and make it face the country, to take the
He's done the same
hands
thing.
Yeah.
and the grip of my predecessors off every lever in the Labour Party. This was hard and bloody work.
Pause. Now, thing is, if, for example, he had said that Corbynism had failed and that everyone who supported it had made the Labour Party unelectable, and to be able to win with Labour again, that would need to be removed from the party kind of HQ
Yeah.
to the membership, and then won an election on that mandate. We would have disliked it, but that would have been the will of the members. We would have been in the minority of the members. But he said none of this. He said the opposite of this. He openly lied and said the 2017 manifesto should be a blueprint. He called Jeremy Corbyn a friend as well as a colleague. He talked about all of the kind of economic policies that had been talked about when Jeremy Corbyn was leader. He said that immigration wasn't a problem and that it was political failure that had led to the things people were blaming immigration as a problem for. So again, yeah, this is just him openly admitting that he's a massive fucking liar, a deceitful fucking slug.
Yep.
To change our party, to make the party face the electorate.
To make the party the Tory party. Yeah. Well done. You
Yeah,
did.
And again, he just didn't make them face the electorate at all.
No.
He didn't. Again, otherwise they would have had any plan, which Morgan McSweeney admitted they didn't have.
And face the country. And even then people said, well, you seem to be changing the Labour Party, but it's not possible for Labour to win an election within 5 years of such a bad defeat. But we did it. We fought.
Because the Tories committed suicide. Yeah. Well done.
Yeah,
No,
you
that's
just
not
kind of waltzed
something you
in-
did.
Yeah, very easy to win an election when Liz Truss completely obliterates the Conservative voting base of pensioners and people with mortgages.
Fought hard, and we went from the lowest of low bases to a general election victory in 2024. And I say, you know, Labour doesn't win
hang on a minute.
that
What?
often.
You have a lower base. You
Yeah.
have a lower base because you got fewer votes. Like, again, no one is saying that you were worse at winning elections than Corbyn, because that's obviously not true, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you are better at winning elections because you appeal to the right people in the right places to make the maths work under first past the post, right? Like, no one is arguing this fact, and I get furious having to debate centrists on this who think that seats won is some kind of measure of popularity. What is a measure of popularity with some middle-aged, middle-income aspirational types who decide basically every election in this country? When actually, if you talk about the base of the party, the overall popularity, that is purely on votes gained. That is purely on how many people that you can get to turn out to you in the polls. If they vote in the wrong places, tough you up in an election, and of course, you know, that was a failure of Corbynism to not think about where you would need to win votes to win the election, right? Like, no one's saying that isn't. But again, to try and claim that you are popular and you have a large base, when you explicitly do not have one, and you have a lower base than Corbyn did, again, it's just lies. It's just lies.
He's a pathological liar. Everything he says is bollocks.
You might describe him, Kevin, as a proven morally corrupt serial liar.
I definitely would. I know someone who wouldn't, though. And that person is a prick.
He's very sensible. Then.
Enough.
Oh, yeah.
And we've only ever won 3 majorities, and we won a majority.
We've only ever won 3 majorities. Tony Blair won 3 on his own. Look, he just lies about everything. We've won 3 majorities. You've won 8. What are you talking about?
Majority in 24, and therefore 1945, 1997, and 2024 go down as 3 of the most successful elections in the history of the Labour Party.
What about 2001 and 2005? You're just going to ignore those, apparently. What?
Also, good point in chat from Nathan as well. Like, if you actually look at the stats, in a lot of places, they matched or underperformed Labour from 2017 in terms of the constituencies where the votes really matter, right? The specific artifact here is whether or not people were voting Tory. And you might well say that, well, look, you know, obviously people were happier to not vote Tory because they didn't see the Labour Party that was incoming as being as much of a threat to them, right? Like, there could have been like a negative polarisation towards Corbyn that got people to vote for Theresa May, and that's probably something that potentially did happen to an extent. But the idea that Keir Starmer is uniquely better at appealing to certain people that's necessary, rather than the case being that Liz Truss was a kind of a motivating factor to not vote Tory, which allowed the vote split for Starmer to win, I think the latter is clearly more likely.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So you're clear you've been a success as Labour leader. Have you been a success as Prime Minister?
Well, the test of that, I think, has to be
No. You're leaving. You got a majority of over 100 and you're gone within 2 years.
You lost the most councillors ever in a set of local elections.
You are the most unpopular Prime Minister ever.
You're
Ever.
You're literally losing to Liz Truss, who lost to a lettuce.
Amazing.
is the country in a better state now than it was when I inherited it 2 years?
Marginally, maybe, in some
It depends what you're
regards.
looking at. Well, it depends on what metrics that you're using, right? So on the economy, yes, the country is in a better state. Waiting lists are lower, inflation is lower, growth is higher, right? Like, wages have increased like ahead of inflation, but whether or not you can attribute this to Starmer's policies, probably some of them, the majority of it probably can be attributed to being on the other end of the business cycle. As we come out of an inflationary period, of course wages are going to go up to compensate. You know, like, how much of that can you attribute to the government? I think it's a bit of a wash, really. But in terms of civil liberties, we're way worse off. In terms of trans rights, we're worse off. In terms of immigrant rights, we're worse off, right? These people are worse than the Tories on civil liberties and for the rights for minorities. In fact, they cut disability welfare more than the Tories did, or to a lower level than the Tories had it at, right? So, you know, again, these are all different complex questions which have interlocking parts, right? And of course, you both helped Israel's genocide. Like, you're both, like, again, you've both been bathing in the blood of Palestinian children. So at that point, like, who the fuck cares?
Yep.
Years ago.
And
if
you think it is?
Oh, if you look across the big ticket items that really matter, The economy was broken when we came in. It was the aftermath of Liz Truss. And we have turned that around and stabilised the economy to a point now where we're the fastest growing economy in the G7, where we've been able to stabilise even during a period of conflict in the Iran war, or a leader on AI, etc. If you look at our public services, in particular the NHS, they were on their knees when we came in 2 years ago. Now we've picked them up, invested in our public services, and in recent weeks we've seen the biggest fall in NHS waiting lists in 17 years. If you look at issues like child poverty, where in 2 years we've taken the steps that will lift 500,000 children out.
Pause. In 2 years? What happened in the first part of those 2 years, Keir? Can you explain to me what was happening to the two-child benefit cap before the budget in 2025?
No, let's ignore that. Let's just focus on the bit now where we're doing the good thing that we tried forever to not do and literally banned people from the party for voting to do.
Yeah, it's incredible, Scott. I'm really proud of the fact that we removed the two-child benefit cap, this thing that I definitely really believed in. And I believed in it so much that people who tried to do it before I was ready to got suspended from the party.
I think the way of putting this for the Starmeroids is he kept the two-child benefiting cap in place for the vast majority of his prime ministership.
He did. That's true. That's true. For 75% of the time when he was Prime Minister, child poverty was increasing.
Yep.
Child homelessness is still increasing in this country.
Child homelessness is literally at a record high in the history of this nation. Well, since records began, obviously. If we want to go back to when people were living in caves, is that technically homeless? You know what I mean?
Out of poverty and have a lasting impact on their lives. If you look at defence and security...
Do you think the 18 months that you kept them in poverty might also impact their lives quite badly, Keir?
That's going to be run on the pound, Kevin. No!
World War III if we feed children. That's the real thing. Marcus Rashford, you monster. You could have caused a run on the pound by feeding children, you cunt.
Where we've had two big uplifts in defence spending, but we've done more than that. We are now
Yay, we spent money on bombs.
Thanks.
leading coalitions in Ukraine. It's France, Germany, and the United Kingdom leading there. In the Strait of Hormuz, it's France and the United Kingdom. Strategic.
What the? Yeah, it's France. It's not the United Kingdom. We had one fucking ship that we had to patch up with bubble wrap, and then it still limped to Gibraltar where it had to be fixed again.
We didn't have any minesweepers available for that Strait of Hormuz either.
Yeah.
It's fine, like, I don't care, we're not the world police, we don't have to be. I don't give a shit whether we're the world police or not, but at the very least, if we're going to make up about us being the world police here, at least say something believable, you know?
Yeah. Look, ultimately, look, I reckon they could just take our bases, because what are we using to defend them? Like, have we got paper boats? Have we just got pretend ones? We've just painted one on the side of a wall to make it look like we have... Yeah. Like, what the fuck was going on here? Exactly, that's it. Scale models, yeah. We just hold them up to the people and it really close to make it look like it's a really big ship. Yeah.
Strategic decisions with other countries. And then if you look at our international reputation, which frankly was in tatters 2 years ago.
Whereas now, we're now just seen as America's little fucking cum sponge.
It's true. Like, on the world stage, we're treated as a kind of a laughing stock, really. Again, first of all, because we keep changing prime ministers.
Yeah.
Second of all, because we continually think that we're bigger than we are and we pretend we still have an empire that we don't.
We really
And then on
do,
top of
yeah.
that, like, we're like, economically, we're not relevant apart from, like, the financial sector. No one buys our exports, right? Like, all of that. People eating our cheese stuff from this trust, obviously a bunch of nonsense, you know? No one takes this fucking
Pork
seriously.
markets!
Yeah, like, no one takes us... I mean, we're taking this seriously as other, like, middle countries, which
Yeah.
is fine.
Look,
the idea that somehow we're regaining empire through the power of Keith is just hilarious.
Yeah, honestly, we need to just accept that we are Norway. We're just Norway.
Except without a sovereign wealth fund.
Well, no, that's the point. Is that if we just acted like we're Norway, instead of pretending that we're Britain circa 1780 or 1850 or whatever, like, we're not this big global fucking superpower, and yet we're spending as if we still are.
Yeah, we're pretending, we're acting like we're Billy Big Bollocks on the global stage when we're just not. Like,
Yeah.
We're not Russia, we're not China, we're not the United States, we're not France, right? We're not Germany.
Exactly.
We are in such a better position now as a trusted partner, not just across the EU, but much more widely, where once again people are looking to the United Kingdom for leadership.
So why have
if you-
MPs got rid
Motherfucker, we're the new Oh shit, what have I done there? We are the new Italy. We change Prime Minister every 5 minutes. No one's looking to us for leadership because we don't even look to ourselves for fucking leadership.
And if they were looking to us for leadership, they said would not be looking towards the UK.
Yeah, that is true. Norway has a better economy. Yeah, because they've accepted they're not a massive world power and they're not spending huge amounts of money trying to defend bases all over the earth and nuclear weapons and acting like Billy Big Bollocks in fucking Ukraine or the Middle East. Norway have accepted we're this country, we're not the big power and all the rest of it, so let's take the oil riches that we have and invest it in us.
And you know what that's got them? They are the single richest country in the world. but it's not a
Exactly.
tax haven.
Exactly. That it can work. Look, we don't have the oil reserves, but we have enough of a base and a little bit of oil that if we actually took it seriously instead of pissing all of our money into the pockets of private enterprise all the fucking time, which then just goes to Monaco or the fucking Cayman Islands or wherever, we could actually be a very rich country. Except we are a rich financial sector in London and then Alabama everywhere else.
True.
If you are, to answer that question, are we in a better position? Then yes, we are, and that's right, and I'm proud of that. It is right that I do.
But
We are definitely better if your judging of better is peaceful protesters being in prison. Then definitely we are supremely better off now. Thank you, Keith, human rights lawyer extraordinaire.
it must make it extra confusing for you, even, that your colleagues have said thanks but no more.
No, the way I've analysed that, and look, it's not a decision I wanted to make. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. I didn't want to be in this position.
No, but as always, Keith, right down to the very last decision, it was a promise broken. I will definitely fight any leadership contest that comes my way. As soon as one does, yeah, I'm off, lads. Toodles.
I'm a fighter and not a quitter. I am resigning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he should, in the resignation letter, he should actually write, "I am a fighter, not a quitter." P.S. I'm quitting. Yours
Norway
in
just scored, by the way.
yours in briefcaseness, Chuck. You know. Yes, indeed, they did. Well done to Norway. Usually, when it's a European team versus a South American team, I'm on the South American team side, but not this time. I'd like Norway to win this, actually.
Yeah, I mean, Norway is a very nice country, and Brazil is also a nice country, but they win all the time.
Well, you say that. They have not won a World Cup in 24 years, and they haven't been to a semi-final since that one.
Well, that's true. The 7-1, it is known.
Yeah, like they actually haven't been that great in recent years. But the point is, they've had enough. You can't keep a second trophy, lads. You're taking the piss.
I mean, like they need to do a Conservative Party. Like, you had your time being the best for a very long time. Continue being at the top of everything. You
Yeah.
know, time to give somebody else a go. Time to have somebody else to be the natural party of World Cups.
And that natural party is Curacao.
No, Cabo Verde.
Either one, I'll take it.
But the way I've looked,
54-year-old Vizinha winning his third World Cup. Let's go!
at it is this. The question being asked now is not who was the best person.
Hang on, you can't... They won the Olympic gold. Yeah, but that's an under-25s tournament. Like, it's nothing. That's basically a youth tournament with a couple of washed-up has-beens per side. It's not a realistic... Like, countries like South Korea win that. No offence to South Korea. God bless you. But, like...
They manage to win things even when they don't choose the referees.
True. And again, this time round, I look forward to Donald Trump hand-picking the referees from the rest of the tournament, I'm sure.
As long as he picks the guy who refereed Paraguay's group matches.
Yeah. Look, talking of Paraguay, they were...
After review!
Yeah. They were absolutely fucking horrible against France. Dirtiest cunts I've ever seen. Honest to God. Look, I was hoping Paraguay would do well, and then they decided to go out there and commit just atrocities.
Like a Battle of Nuremberg kind of era stuff, really.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
it was fucking horrible. Yeah, but there we go.
And to save the Labour Party and turn it around, I've answered that question pretty comprehensively. It's not who's the best person to lead us to a landslide Labour victory. I've answered that question pretty comprehensively. The question my colleagues in the parliamentary party are asking now is, am I the right person to take us into the next election? And they've answered that question.
You think there are?
Yeah, conclusively, with no. Fuck off.
And again, it's funny, they go like, well, who's the best person to lead us into the next election? Well, clearly not me. And I'm like, okay, what metric do you think people are judging you on when they think that you're bad, other than your record in government? You can't say, oh, we've been really good in government, but everyone hates us, and so we're not going to win the next election, so I have to step down. Like, this makes no sense.
Yeah. So you wouldn't punch a Frenchman, Kev? I didn't say that. I just said if I was a Paraguayan international footballer, and that's a matter of when, not if. I will not punch Frenchmen on the pitch, no.
The answer is wrong still.
Look, they've answered that question, and I accept that answer, and I accept it in good grace. And this is really important to me because...
Again, the lies. We know from behind the scenes you have not accepted it with good grace, that you've been screaming blue murder about it and that you're furious. We know,
Yeah.
Kia. For fuck's
literally, it's been widely reported. It's been widely reported that he was quite literally like in like, screaming matches with people over this stuff, and was really what was described by Kate McCann from the Times as like engaging in arrogance, that people might question his position as leader of the party. There had been open cabinet revolt, or a threatening to like mass resign Boris Johnson style, to publicly humiliate him in front of the country to get him to step down.
Yeah.
In fact, he hasn't accepted this with good grace in the slightest.
I really care that there's a Labour government. I really care that a Labour government succeeds because
Well, you think you'd have made one then, because your government isn't a Labour government at all.
I want our country to succeed. And therefore, yes, that's the answer they've given. I accept that in good grace. And what I want to do now is to make sure that whatever comes next is a success. And so I'm doing everything I can in the remaining...
Well, I know what would be a massive success, Kia, if you went to fucking Dignitas, mate.
Or The Hague, at the very least.
Either one's good with me, in all honesty. I'm fine either way.
I prefer Hague because it's longer.
Well, yeah, but I mean, look. Kia, well, what we should do is get Kia to promise doing one of them, and then we know he'll do the other one. And again, it's the toss of a coin.
Got to make sure that there's an orderly transition, that everything is there to ensure there's a stronger foundation as can possibly be for my successor, so that...
But I thought you were fixing the foundations to build a pathway to the 5 milestones for the goals to turn the corner to reset the nation of a decade of renewal. Keith!
What we've achieved so far can be built on, and I believe it can, because the next Prime Minister will inherit a stable economy, good public services, or improving public services, a big majority.
But it's unstable, the economy having to have a new chancellor, a new leader.
Hear me out, and therefore my successor will have a platform to build on, which means that Labour can go on and should go on to win the next election, and that's what I'm trying to make sure I'm able to do over the next few days to serve my country and to make sure that I bow out. It's the end of my journey in politics. I'm very clear about that. I've said to all my colleagues it's not the end of their journey, and it's very important that we all do what we can to make sure what comes
Pause, hang a
next
minute.
is...
Is he stepping down as an MP?
I think that sounds like it, yeah. Although, having said that he's probably going to step down as an MP, he'll be an MP in 20 fucking years.
literally. Again, whatever he says, just the total opposite will be what ends up happening.
Yeah.
But again, like, unless of course he's actually not stepping down as an MP, but his journey in politics was just to be the guy who was called prime minister, and he never cared about the constituents of Holborn and St Pancras. When, of course, obviously he never cared about these things. He only became an MP because he was shoehorned in to the seat as a safe seat, so he could be Ed Miliband's potential attorney general if they won in 2015. It's the only reason he was an MP in the first place, right? Like, yeah, of course he doesn't view his role as representing his constituents as part of his political journey.
Yeah, of course.
A success, and that's what I will do.
Well, let's talk about the shape of what comes next.
Yeah.
Because you were very clear just then that you see your work on the global stage as a core part of your legacy.
Yeah.
You talk about rebuilding alliances that were shredded when you came into office. Do you not worry that a new Prime Minister takes a bit of that back to square one?
Well, I don't think a new Prime Minister will, because, and there's often this discussion, you know, what's the right balance between dealing with international affairs and dealing with domestic affairs? They're one and the same thing. And it is...
Well, not entirely, really, no. But also, like, clearly you didn't believe that to be the case because you were only ever happy dealing with international affairs. Either soaking your fucking balls in the blood of Palestinians or glad-handing with world leaders. That was the only time you were ever happy.
Yeah, he spent far more time like with Mohammed bin Zayed or whatever it is, you know, trade envoys with the United Arab Emirates, or swanning around with Mohammed bin Salman in Jeddah, than he ever did with any of his own fucking MPs, some of whom have never met him.
Oh yeah, no, there are world leaders who have spent more time with him than Labour MPs, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he is shaking hands with Vladimir Zelensky way more than virtually any Labour MP.
Yeah.
100%.
It's in the best interest of our country to be able to lead on the international stage. Just give you 2 or 3 examples of that. The biggest impact on the cost of living, therefore on the household income and living standards of everybody in the country, the biggest impact in the last few years has been, on the one hand, the Ukraine conflict, on the other, the Iran conflict that's going on at the moment, and the Strait of Hormuz. And therefore, if you're Prime Minister and you care what bills are going to be like in any household around the country, you have to care about finding a lasting solution to the situation in Ukraine.
Okay, he isn't wrong about any of this. This is all incredibly true, okay? Yeah. But if that is the case, then you've massively fucking failed, because you are literally the man enabling Trump to bomb Iran by allowing him to use our military bases. You are the one making the Strait of Hormuz closure
2-0.
worse.
It's alright. 2-0 to Norway.
He's literally making the Strait of Hormuz crisis worse by being a Trump enabler. And
Yeah.
on top of that, he's also, by being an Israel enabler, it gives them their belief, their kind of that they have the carte blanche to continually be belligerent to everybody else, because they know that they won't face any repercussions from their ally nations in the West, right? The only reason Netanyahu was allowed to get away with everything that he does is because he knows that no one, at least not a human rights lawyer in charge of a country that helped draft the UN Charter, would say no to him, because he's the spoiled child, right?
Also, that freeze frame makes him look like Wallace.
It does, doesn't he? Oh, Gromit, we forgot the policies.
Cracking cheese, Gromit.
You have to care about what happens in the Strait of Hormuz, and that's why I am proud that when other countries have looked to the sort of group of countries that's needed to work on these, they've looked to the UK and to France and Germany for the work on Ukraine in particular, the coalition of the willing.
No, hang on, no, chat. I'm not having this slander. While Helena does politics, Kev is shouting 2-0. All right, you know what? I'm gonna reveal DMs. Helena,
I would have said that myself were my stream as caught up as Kev's was. The only reason Kev said it is because Kev is watching ahead of me.
yeah, but Helena wanted to start this show after the game.
I did.
So don't even fucking start with me, chat. And then I had to point out that we'd have very little time to actually do any show between that and the England game. So yeah, so here you are. There you go. I've revealed DMs of a famous journalist.
And they've looked again to France and the UK when it comes to the work that needs to be done on reassurance in the Strait of Hormuz. And that is...
No one is looking to the UK and the Strait of Hormuz because it's not 1923. What the fuck are you talking about? We don't have a navy, you cunt. what exactly are we going to do there? Oh God, it's just bollocks. Please, look, the ultimate failing of the Labour Party is the fact that this fucking creature wasn't gotten rid of months ago. Look,
he should have gone after the Mandelson stuff.
as soon as the Mandelson stuff came out, and now we learn, oh, Mandelson was a fucking Russian asset as well. What a surprise!
Allegedly, according to an MI6 source.
Wow.
A former MI6 source.
well,
Paul Holden says that it should be taken with a degree of skepticism because MI6 people are on the high in their own supply, and I trust Paul Holden's judgment on this.
Well, what I will say is that he was on the board of a Russian company with links to the fucking the Kremlin after the invasion of Ukraine.
And he was really good friends with Oleg Deripaska.
Yeah, like when I think of him as an asset, you don't have to be a willing asset. I think
that's true.
I think he was. Don't get me wrong. I can't prove that legally speaking. I'm just saying my surmisings would be that would be the case. I'm not suggesting that I can prove illegality of any kind because we'll wait and see. But you don't have to be a willing participant. You can be like essentially a kind of stooge of sort. The example I used the other day was of Vladimir Lenin. When he was allowed through German lines as a Russian to go back to Russia to destabilise Russia, he was an asset of the German government at that point. Not willingly, he wasn't acting on behalf of the German government under direction, but he was being allowed to do what he was doing because he was an asset to the German state.
Yeah, 100%. And likewise, it's good for Germans and Russians. Like literally, like Gerhard Schröder was an asset for Russia.
100%. Yeah.
I am proud of the fact that the UK is now regarded as a leader, a country that others look to and want to engage with, and that is in our best interests here at home. You can't. It's not sensible to think you can just separate these two things out.
Because there are those in your party, and you probably know this, who think that the next Prime Minister could spend less time on diplomacy than you have. You're saying pretty clearly that's
Or just do any amount of domestic work at all would be good. Just literally having a hinterland, reading documents and taking decisions would be a good change. Positive,
well, again, telling the country what you want the country to look like, because you don't know. Like, that's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
not possible.
At least
No, I don't
Andy
think it is
Burnham can do that.
possible.
Yeah.
And I've given you the example of Ukraine and the Strait of Hormuz. I can give you plenty of other examples.
Do you want to talk about the genocide you're doing? Do you want to ask him about the genocide he's doing, Mr. Interviewer? Mr. Journalisms?
Mr. Fearless Fourth
The
Estate?
deal we did with the US that safeguarded all the jobs at JLR up in the Midlands.
It's integral to the
huge.
domestic
So
picture.
Before we did that deal,
Hang on a minute.
Uh,
What about
he-
the deal with America where you flogged off like hot bits of the
Sometimes
NHS?
maybe
What about
good,
the deal where
sometimes
you
maybe
massively
shit.
allowed them to hike up drug prices? What?
Also, can I just say, is this guy now acting as his hype man? Because he was like, oh, well, that's integral to the economy. Okay, let him big himself up. You don't have to fluff him. That's not your job as a journalist, mate. Come on now.
I went to see the workforce and looked them in the eyes. They were really worried because of the threatened tariffs that they were going to lose their jobs. And I went back
Sometimes
to them
maybe good,
immediately
sometimes
with the deal
maybe
with
shit.
President Trump, and they were so relieved because they knew for them, their families, their communities, it was a massive deal. So this suggestion you can really, in the modern era, simply split up international and domestic is just
Well, no one is saying you can absolutely do that, but there clearly is a difference between what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz and, I don't know, transport policy or something. Like, come on now, Keith. Like,
again,
you can't. What he's trying to do is say, well, actually, even though people think I spent so much on international affairs, actually, that was me doing domestic governance. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, 100%.
No, it wasn't.
That's exactly what he's saying here. He's trying to essentially palm off his time like gallivanting around the world being Billy Big Bollocks as if it was somehow being done in the interest of the British public's energy bills rather than to, make himself feel better about himself.
Yeah, he wanted. Well, yeah, exactly. He basically just wanted to be prime minister. What we needed, and I suppose technically what we got is just he was a wanker. Was Keir Starmer being the guy, being the kid in the toy car outside the supermarket. You put the 10p in,
Yeah.
and around and around he goes, and then have an actual.
Generational tweet. Generation. I mean, I'm gonna have to bring up the tweet.
And then
it's so good.
It is, and then have an actual prime minister doing the work. It's unfortunate though that the literal Satan, the literal Irish Satan that is Morgan McSweeney was the actual prime minister. Yeah.
Literally. Let me find it. Here it is. Here it is. Absolutely insane tweet from Matt Zarb Cousin, all the way from October the 18th, 2023. If Summer becomes Prime Minister, he'll be like a little child sitting on one of those corn-operated cars you find at supermarkets that go backwards and forwards, turning the steering wheel around, thinking he's driving, but not actually in control of anything. This was in response to Starmer winning the backing of Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock.
Yeah, exactly.
Party of working people, though, Kevin.
Yes, definitely has the people's interests at heart. Those people being the shareholders of BlackRock.
It just doesn't make sense. It isn't true. It isn't right.
Do you ever think the job's too much for one person?
No, it's obviously you need a strong team around you. You need a good cabinet.
Hang on, is he suggesting some sort of dual prime ministership? Because I'm not sure how that would be better, really. That's what the cabinet's for, you prat.
I mean, it's funny to say that as if we haven't had people who've served as Prime Minister for, like, decades, you know?
Yeah.
Blair, over a decade, almost just over a decade. Thatcher, over a decade, you know?
Thatcher did literally every single day of the 1980s.
Yeah, like Winston Churchill, over the course of multiple terms, served over a decade, right?
Thereabouts, although he wasn't elected to his first bit. But yeah,
That
he
is
did,
true,
he did
that
serve
is
a long time, yeah.
Yeah, like the idea that somehow it's so difficult that a single person can't potentially do the job, and I'm like, plenty of single people have done the job. Keir Starmer is just shit.
Yeah.
He's just really bad at his job.
Yeah. Even Major, who was shit at it, did what? 6 years?
Yeah,
he did
91.
No, yeah, 91 to 97, yeah. Or actually no, 90, wasn't it? So yeah, nearly 7 years. Which is like, that's over 3 Starmers.
Yeah, literally over 3 Starmers. And again, right, people will then go and say, well, they were governing at a different time where the population wasn't as ungovernable as they are now. And as if every single Prime Minister that's had to leave office in the last 10 years, the 7 Prime Ministers that we will have had by the time that Burnham replaces Starmer, as if any of these people deserved to stay around. None of them did.
Yeah.
None of them did. The idea that this was the public's fault and not our politicians being shit is for the birds, right? David Cameron obviously had to leave because of Brexit that he campaigned for and then lost and didn't want to deliver and see through. Theresa May, ditto, didn't vote for Brexit, wanted to be the one to see it through, couldn't pass a deal because you couldn't take charge of the ERG, and because Starmer collapsed the compromise negotiations between May and Corbyn. Boris Johnson promoted Chris Pincher, broke his own lockdown laws. Liz Truss imploded the economy. Sunak lost an election, and Starmer appointed the best pal of a man who raped kids.
Yeah, those are all things. Also, just worth mentioning, as he's been brought up, John Major did over 3 Starmers, but also was over Edwina Corrie. But that's a different matter entirely.
Cabinet team. You need a good, strong team here in number 10. So there's a lot of support that goes in. But in the end...
oh, maybe that's what we could do. He wants to have a northern number 10. We have a northern prime minister and a southern prime minister.
I mean, this is going to lead to like a Ukraine-style like split, isn't it?
Oh God, Birmingham's going to be the front line. Oh no.
So yes, Scotland are going to like pour a bunch of people over into northern England and then go and say, look, the southern Britain is banning the northern accent, which is why we have to invade to denazify England.
True. You know what? I support the Scottish 3-day military operation. Okay?
To liberate the People's Republic of Northumbria.
Yes. Look, the people of Wessex scream for freedom. Yeah?
I think particularly for the Prime Minister, working very closely with the Chancellor, that is where sort of key decisions have to be made, priorities have to be decided, and
honestly, it would be so modern Britain if we did just balkanise. Just go completely mental. Because we're the normalest island ever.
I mean, surely we will end up balkanising because, like, surely Scotland can't stay around forever. Look at it. Look
Yeah.
at what's happening in England, and
Yeah.
like, who on earth in Scotland wants to be part of this at all? Like, genuinely,
Yeah.
what the fuck are unionists doing?
I
Like,
d- I
I
d- I
have
d-
differences of opinion with a lot of with a lot of nationalists in Scotland, but just look at the state of England. What the fuck are you doing, still being attached to this mess?
Yeah, you are chained to a psychopath. You should leave, really. Yeah. Well done to Norway. Brazil did get a goal back, but yeah, Norway, well done. Worst Brazil team ever. No offence to Norway, I'm not taking away from your victory here, but that was the shittest Brazil team I've ever seen. Fucking rank.
Yeah, at least the 7-1 guys got to the semi-final,
Yeah, and I had some really good players.
and they lost to one of the best German teams since like the 80s German teams.
Yeah, they were excellent. Khedira, Ozil, Schürrle, Müller, Klose. Oh,
Kroos.
yeah, Tony Kroos. I didn't even mention Tony Kroos, yeah. Although he's a Nazi, but he was a good.
Mertesacker,
It's a very good football.
Schweinsteiger.
Yeah. Podolski. Oh, they had loads of shit going on. Manuel Neuer when he wasn't a 40-year-old loser. Yeah.
Have to be taken.
The same
there's
trade-offs
rarely-
for your successor as you've faced.
Yeah, look, whoever's my successor is going to face the same global conflict. We're in the, we keep saying, and it's true, we're in a more dangerous and volatile world than we've been in for probably most of my lifetime. That's not just.
You were born during the Cold War. What the fuck are you talking about? Your lifetime. Literally, we were like moments away from nuclear catastrophe every 5 seconds. What are you talking about? I think of the just myriad of wars and all kinds of shit that's gone on in his lifetime. Don't get me wrong.
There was a genocide in Europe in his lifetime.
There literally was. Talking of balkanisation, yeah, absolutely. Oh my god, yeah, he's just full of shit. Like, Britain, in terms of its own actual physical security, has rarely been safer than it currently is in the history of these islands. Because our near neighbours aren't going to invade us for the first time ever, basically. Within living memory, that is, you know?
What's interesting is that the threat of Russia has made Europe more tight-knit, which is quite interesting. Despite Russia desperately trying to destabilise European countries.
Yeah. Yeah, the shittest Brazil team ever, and they slaughtered Scotland. Yeah, to be fair, Scotland got their tactics wrong in all of their games, in all honesty. It's a shame. But anyway, that's talking of people getting their tactics wrong, Keir Starmer.
Just a phrase, that's reality, that's not going to change. And the domestic challenges aren't going to change. And as Prime Minister, you have to take very many decisions every single day.
And you didn't. We know you didn't. That was part of the problem, was that ministers were like, what do you want me to do? And you wouldn't tell them, and so they had to just make shit up as they went along.
Literally, you spent more time thinking about dress codes than you did about making the actual decisions of government.
Yeah, like, you fucking hell, Keith.
People described you as having sat you in front of the DLR because they were making all the decisions for you.
Yeah. You don't have a hinterland!
And none of them are easy. But everybody understands that that's the role of the Prime Minister. And, it is a really, important role sitting alongside.
Oh, thanks, Keith. I mean, just round of applause for that analysis. It's a really important role, the Prime Minister. I didn't know that. I thought he was like the fucking tea lady or someone who... this is the most simple thing ever. Fuck.
Find this.
Oh my god, he's just a fucking empty husk. He's not a real boy, he's an empty suit man. He's a fucking briefcase wanker.
I had the great privilege of actually being the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
I think even Larry the Cat knows that your successor is going to be Andy Burnham. And you've done something quite unusual. I can't remember you doing about other people in the past.
I hope Larry the Cat pissed on him in his sleep.
So true.
I hope so.
Which is, you've mocked him. I remember an event in 2022, just after the World Cup final, the last World Cup. I'll just read you a bit of what you said.
In 2022, mate? Last World Cup? Okay.
He said Andy got to see his boyhood team Argentina win the World Cup. It was a mixed bag because he also got to see his boyhood team France lose the final and his boyhood teams Morocco and Croatia lose in the semis. You're smiling. You think this is still funny. I mean, what did you mean by that?
Well, look, I think this was a Christmas speech to, I think it was to the journalists. Or
It
something
was,
like
that's
that.
why I remember
It's
it.
intended to be very light-hearted, etc. But let me give you
No, wait,
another
wait,
side of my
pause.
relationship.
No, actually, it's about being able to say things that you can't admit publicly.
Yeah.
Because the journalists all know that you all hate each other in the Labour Party. You know, they know full well that this is a dysfunctional relationship, right? So you can let your guard down in terms of the internal squabbles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you were literally just saying he's a disloyal piece of shit.
Well, yeah, like a Corbyn eye, a Brown eye, and a Blairite will walk into a bar, and the barkeep says, "What would you like, Mr. Burnham?"
Which is interesting, given that the entire political journey of Keir Starmer has been. I was massive mates with Jeremy Corbyn too. Who? What? New phone? Who this? I don't know who this person is. Ah! Like, he's the most disloyal motherfucker that's ever lived. From 2017 will be a foundational document to. He was Hitler!
With Andy, which I think is really important because we've been working together for years. When
Like, I don't know if he's going to resign straight away as an MP. It would be funny if Andy Burnham got in and removed the whip from him. That would be funny. Just kick him out of the party.
I first came here, I came into politics, as you know, late in life, and we'd just lost another election. And the first person I wanted to work for and did work for was Andy Burnham, and we worked together in the Shadow Home Office team for a little while. And then since he's been mayor, we've been working very closely together on some really important projects like Northern Powerhouse Rail, but also...
And HS2, which isn't reaching Manchester. Sorry, it's the only thing we've got to brag about. We're just fucking city of rats. Come on now.
You know, in the aftermath of the awful attack on the synagogue up in Manchester, I was...
pause.
On
What about all of the other hate crimes that happened?
No, only attacks against Jewish people. That's it.
And again, like, perfectly reasonable. These were horrific attacks, and this is a minority that is pretty set upon right now for lots of reasons, let alone the reasons when you keep defending Israel as if it's Jewish rather than for the state that it is, meaning that people think that those things are one and the same when they aren't, right? Like, but they are under attack, it's true, and they should be treated with the level of care and attention that any minority should be if they're under attack. But weird that attacks on trans people and Muslims don't get the same level of attention, King.
Yeah. No Cobra meetings for any of that.
Not for the multiple stabbings in Edinburgh,
No.
the terror attack.
No.
on the phone to Andy straight away. It was one of the first calls I made. Went straight to Manchester, and he and I then worked intensely closely together in the aftermath of that awful attack.
Do you like him?
Yes, I do. We've always got on. He supports the wrong football club, but
So do you.
But you know, so do I. But the ability,
Bingo!
you know, we get on. I've never had any personal animosity, and I wish.
You lying cockhead. You personally intervened to ensure he could not stand. You literally did that, Keir. We all know. Stop lying.
And what's funny is that only kind of hastened his demise as prime minister as well. Because again, like, the reason why he had to step down was because of the local election results, and the local election results were so bad because of the amount of votes that he lost to the Green Party. And whilst they probably would have lost loads of those votes anyway had Andy Burnham stood and won in Gorton and Denton, the level to which they lost those votes was much heavier because people felt like the Greens were an actual alternative because they could show that they can win in Gorton and Denton because Andy Burnham was blocked. Like, he literally hastened his own demise and, of course, cost thousands of Labour councillors their roles in local government because he was too busy protecting his own career to care about the future of the party or indeed the country, right? Like, it's funny because he keeps talking about country over party when really, in Keir Starmer's case, it's personal interest, then faction, then party, then country.
Indeed. I did not. Well, that's the Tartan Army have made such an impact in the world that Glasgow is now sistered with Boston.
Well, there you go.
That is amazing. Okay. Well done to them. You know, in many respects, that's a big win in itself. I appreciate that.
If he is my successor,
Look, in terms of the PR World Cup, Scotland win.
Also interesting, this is an interesting fact from Radio 5 Live. Brazil haven't been a European team in a World Cup knockout game since 2002.
Which would be the final, yeah, against Germany.
Yeah.
so obviously there's a little bit of process to go. But I want.
And by the way, in that same tournament, Ronaldinho did not mean that free kick. That was a miss-hit cross.
It's true, he admitted it.
Like, obviously. You can try and dress it up. Oh no, it's a special type of kick. No, it isn't. It's a shit cross. I mean, it went in, fair enough. It's a perfectly legitimate goal. But you didn't mean it.
It was very much the
What
Keir
context
Starmer general election victory of goals.
It was, but I do have to wonder about comparing anything to do with Ronaldinho, a very fine footballer, a Ballon d'Or winner, one of the most skillful players of his generation, with this decrepit, sweaty, flabby freak.
And it was like the capitulation of Liz Truss that gave Keir Starmer his election victory, and it was David Seaman's wandering off his line that gave Ronaldinho his goal.
True, but it was not Liz Truss that allowed Ronaldinho to become one of the most dominant attacking midfielders in his generation.
That is true. That is true.
So.
Succeed, and I'm going to do everything I possibly can to make sure it does succeed, and I'm going to support the.
But hang on, you're gonna try and guarantee it succeeds as much as possible by stopping being a member of Parliament. But I'm going to make sure that everything goes well by doing nothing.
What's really funny, right? Remember how Corbyn was expelled from the Labour Party and not allowed to run as a candidate because of not anti-Semitism, because they can't say that because that'd be libelous because they can't prove it. They had to say because of the way that he lost the election in 2019. I'm just like, oh, okay, so I look forward to a future Labour leader doing the same thing to Keir Starmer when Labour get fucking obliterated at the next election.
Yeah, very much so, yeah. I hasten to inform the crowd that Norway has never lost a match to Brazil. Is this the first time they've ever played Brazil? Is that why that stat exists? I don't know, but that would be quite funny.
Government. And what I mean by support is that any advice I give will be only given if asked for. It'll be given behind the scenes, and I won't be on camera on the radio giving my version of what the Prime Minister should be doing, because that's my interpretation of supporting a Labour government.
Let's talk a bit
Okay, so he's going to have his own 5 Live show.
I was going to try and lobby to be NATO Secretary General.
Yeah, probably.
about how it feels to do this job. We're here in your study. I'm told you come here to think alone.
He doesn't think. He was elected. He was elected
Whoa,
to lead, not
whoa.
to read. Okay.
Well, I think he's. I for one, Kevin, do not have your level of skepticism. I know full well he's sat in this study and thought incredibly hard about whether or not the next meeting should be business casual.
That is true. And Vitali, obviously.
Has it been lonely?
No, it's not lonely because you're surrounded by teams the whole time. But sometimes you do need space to just sit.
Have a massive wank. Yeah. No, I get it. I get it, Kurt. Yeah. The 5th time they've played. Oh, okay, that's pretty impressive then.
Alone, go through difficult decisions, and just slightly step outside the inevitable noise and hustle that is always in number 10. So whether it's here in the study or whether it's actually our flat, which is just over there, I do have these places where I can go and sort of just get a bit of space. In
By
the
the way, I don't care
flat
about
here
this,
where I'm with Vic and the kids.
I'm shock to nobody. I don't care about Keir Starmer, how he thinks and what it's like being Prime Minister.
Let's skip.
I would very much. I care far more about him being in a cell at The Hague.
Yeah. Let's skip forward a bit then.
2 years ago, and to come and live in this environment was very odd for them, and they've been amazing. But there's things I've not been able to do with them because if there's cameras there, then I tend not to do it with them, and therefore they've been deprived of doing some things with me that they might have otherwise been able to do. But they've been fantastic.
Your wife was by your side during the last few weeks, which have clearly been very difficult for you. When was the moment that the two of you, I think as a pair, decided it was over?
Well, it was tough. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Really, really tough. As I grappled with what was the best thing to do for me, for the country, for the government.
Notice the order. Notice the order, he said.
On top of this as well, like, we know this isn't true. We know that he didn't think about this hard. We know that he basically fought until the last moment, save Big Dog style, right? Like, he literally did a Boris Johnson, a Leonardo DiCaprio in The Wolf of Wall Street. I ain't fucking leaving! That's exactly what he did, right? He had to be dragged out kicking and screaming and be threatened with public humiliation.
And those discussions inevitably start with many discussions with colleagues, with parliamentary colleagues, with the team here, with my immediate advisors, with trade unions, so many people in that.
Oh yeah, you definitely talk a lot to the trade unions, don't you? Yeah. I definitely believe that.
Discussion. But for me, and this may be different for other people, in the end,
That because you only care about yourself. Yeah, we know.
and that's why it was a decision taken ultimately when Vic and I were away with
My wife!
the kids. We went to Chequers and just spent 2 days together as a family. And that's when I came to my final decision. And it wasn't that I didn't want other advice at that stage. I'd had plenty of conversations, but when you are taking the decision to step down from the role as Prime Minister, taking the decision that your political career is over, it is an intensely personal matter, or at least it was for me. And I wanted to do that with Vic, and that's what I did.
And again, like,
as
two
you described
points on
earlier,
that. Again, he's still describing his political career being over. So again, like, the constituents of Holborn and St Pancras clearly not high up on his list of priorities. But second of all, it just shows the level to which the leaders in this country have so much power that he's going like, well, people are all saying I should step down, but really it was a decision for me and me alone to make. And I'm just like, that should not be how this works.
Yeah.
That should not be how this works at all, right? You should have been stripped from your position incredibly easily. But there is no such method to do so, which is why he was allowed to get away with everything he did when he was leader, because there was no way of challenging him.
Yeah.
you came to politics later than most. You've had an incredibly successful life. 11 plus, 2 great universities, DPP at a relatively young age. You come to politics, and I think you've said before you thought you might be Ed Miliband's Attorney General. Instead, you're leader of the Labour Party within 5 years, Prime Minister within 9. It must be difficult that clearly the last 2 years ultimately haven't gone as you'd hoped.
Well, the way I see it is this. I didn't come into politics.
Sorry, all I can think of is the Alan Partridge moment where he goes like, "Tell it like it is. It went tits up."
Yeah, exactly.
In order to be the Prime Minister. I came in because I wanted to be part of something that would change millions of lives for the better. I stepped up as leader of the Labour Party after the 29 election, and so the way I put it is the Labour Party arguably could have been lost, but I stepped up as leader, and with others we saved the Labour Party.
You have killed the Labour Party. What the fuck are you talking about? You've got 7 members now. What are you talking about?
We returned it as an electoral force, won a general election, and then in 2 years have started the important work of change. And
again, but he's trying to do this thing where he's like, I've been really good in government. We've done some really important and awesome things. And that's why I'm stepping down.
Yeah, okay, again, none of this makes any sense. And again, he says we turn to electoral force again with fewer votes. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like, none of this is in any way quantifiable.
Yeah.
left the country in a materially better state than it was 2 years ago. So yes, look, in answer directly to your question, did I want it to end at this point in this way? No.
Look, if the country is materially better, you wouldn't be this unpopular. Look, don't get me wrong. I think it still would be unpopular because he's a cunt. But if the material conditions were better, most people would be like, okay, he's a bit of a cunt, but he seems to be doing a decent job, whatever. And he'd be like middlingly unpopular.
Yeah, that's basically how people viewed David Cameron, right? Like, things weren't great in the Cameron years, even for the people who he served, right? There were still, riots in London, across the country, like buildings burnt down.
Yeah.
Right? Like, things were not great, and loads of parts of the country were broken by the Conservative Party. But at the end of the day, the core Conservative voter base, which are people with mortgages and people with pensions, saw interest rates be zero in 2010 and still be zero in 2015, meaning that their houses went up in value, their mortgage payments and mortgage rates stayed low, and their pension provision increased. Now we're like, okay, well, I know there's fires in London. I know that poor people are dying in the hundreds of thousands, but my house price has gone up, my mortgage cost hasn't. Therefore, the world is more gooder, right? My
Yeah.
material conditions have gotten better.
Yeah,
So they voted for him.
indeed, indeed.
No, I didn't, but I accept that with good grace. As I look back, am I proud of the fact that I picked the Labour Party up, turned it around, turned it back in?
Oh yeah, back into an electoral force that lost 1,400 councillors.
Yeah. Also, thank you, Vicky Glee, for the £5. Helena, they listed his 11 plus as an achievement. Why didn't they tell us the 80 potty trained that?
Yeah, the 11
Literally,
plus.
literally.
Like, I assumed that anyone of his generation who became a lawyer also passed their 11 plus. Surely.
Verbal reasoning is kind of important in the role of being a barrister or a lawyer.
Yeah, like that. I take that as read that they did. Like, I wouldn't even check that with him. I'd be like, I just assumed he would pass basic, like, childhood tests. Yeah. Okay.
Intellectual force, got rid of anti-Semitism in our party.
What the fuck are you talking about, mate? Like, you can't still keep using that line. It's bollocks, and everyone knows it.
And of course,
Fucking
he expelled more Jews than anybody else, right?
Yeah.
He expelled Jewish people for not being supportive enough of Israel, which is in itself anti-Semitic.
Yeah, but they're the wrong kind of Jew, which isn't
literally, it's like-
anti-Semitism at all. It's fine.
Oh, the only real Jews are the ones who have dual loyalty, right?
Yeah.
Ensured our party was trusted again on the economy and on defence and on immigration, and won not just a general election but a landslide general election, and put in a shift at 2 years that has seen our economy stabilise, our public services improve, and our international standing in a completely different place. When I look back on that, I'm proud of what I've done. And
So proud that you're despised by, like, everyone. Like, this is just Fantasyland shit. And but if only there was, like, a person sat a few feet from him who was a journalist who could make him try and see that, make him try and see the dissonance
Yeah.
between that. Maybe if there was a fucking journalist sat right there who could ask him this very basic question. But unfortunately, what there is some sort of mannequin.
and I shall exit now. Having done that, I shan't.
If it's him exiting, is it Stexit? Is that what's happening here?
Exit.
Yeah.
So we take off your shoes.
As I say, give unwanted advice to my successor. I shall simply make sure that I do everything I can to make.
Why would anyone go to you for advice? About unless it's like, how do you do a genocide? Maybe. But like, why would any government? Why would your successor go? I know. I'll go to the guy that everyone hated that had to step down after 2 years. He'll know what to do.
Yeah, I'll get one of the largest majorities in British history and fuck it up so badly in the quickest time ever. Right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, people really want this guy's advice.
Yeah.
Make sure what comes next is a success, and support all of my colleagues in that. I want the government to succeed. I want all my parliamentary colleagues to succeed, and I've told them that, and I mean it.
And you're going to stay as an MP
I'm going to stay as an
until
MP.
the next election?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So his political career isn't over then, apparently.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, look, let's be honest. He never cared about his constituents anyway, but he is literally phoning it in for the next 3 years. He's just going to do nothing in terms of being an MP. He's going to do a full Farage.
I'm assuming what will happen is Andy Burnham will put him up in the Foreign Office because people view his chops as being on foreign policy, which is hilarious given the state of Gaza, right? But I think that probably will happen, and then he'll use that position in the Foreign Office to be able to lobby for NATO chief in 3 years' time.
No, but...
I mean, to be fair, like, even Keir Starmer's probably better than Mark Rutte. You know, that's how bad Mark Rutte is. Even Starmer's probably less bad, which is crazy to think.
I'm not sure. I just see him as Dutch Starmer. He's Van.
He kind of
he's
is.
Van Starmer, basically.
Do you have another big job in you? Some people are talking about an international job.
I don't know, is the honest answer to that. The decision I've taken is that I should focus 100% on serving my country as Prime Minister until the day I leave, and then I can take time to think about what might come next. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. It's a big job, it's really important, and my way of dealing with these things is to say I will focus on what the job in hand is, and that job in hand for me is serving my country, which is an incredible privilege, making sure that what comes next is a success, going with
So he's
grace.
just, oh my God, it's literally just the same repeated lines. This is why you're hated, because you're just, you can so blatantly tell they've gone in there with those prepared lines every time. You're not answering the question. You might as well just not interview him and just read from a fucking press release.
That's so true. That is literally it. Because again, it's not like him saying it either is more expressive than it being read out by text-to-speech.
Yeah, literally, yeah. And he's such a fan of AI. Use that. Fuck it.
He's literally our first AI Prime Minister.
Literally. Oh my God.
And then
Sir Keir Starmer, GPT.
having gone, keeping my mouth shut rather than giving constant advice to my successor about what they should be doing.
And if you don't want to get ahead of yourself, you might not like this final question, but it's the last
Also,
one.
pause.
Your last.
Him saying, I will not give any advice to the person who succeeds me. And I'm like, yeah, because you don't have any advice, because you don't believe in anything and have no policy. Like, yeah, you wouldn't say anything because you wouldn't think of anything to say, because when it came to policy, you'd have Morgan and Sue to do it.
Well, look. Yeah, that's so out of order. That's so out of pocket, really. His successor will need to know about Casual Fridays. And if there's one man who can give us some wardrobe advice, come on now. Keir's the man. Keir's the man.
Last day as Prime Minister is the day after the World Cup final.
Yes.
Arsenal have won the league on your watch. Are England going to win the World Cup?
Well, I really hope so. I mean, we've got a great squad, and of course, last time we won was under a Labour government, so that bodes well. I don't want to, do anything to disturb what might happen. I mean, I'm a massive Arsenal fan and England fan. I have watched England. I don't know how many times.
Oh, we
I've
know.
watched them.
We know you're a big Arsenal fan, Keir. We know full well about your love of Arsenal tickets.
Yes, yeah. You are. He's a very big fan of Arsenal brackets commercial box.
Back in 21 in the Euro finals in Wembley, and of course we lost on penalties. But
Old fucking kiss of death here. Thanks.
it was a good squad, resilient squad, really tough game coming up against Mexico. But yes, we can win it, and I really hope we do.
Keir Starmer, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Most pointless interview ever. Terrible journalism, terrible Prime Minister. Both of you can get fucked.
Well, at least that's over now. Fuck off.
Literally, yes. Oh, what an absolute prick. Okay, should we...
I've never hated a politician more. I really haven't. I mean, maybe George Osborne. Maybe George Osborne quite a bad Pip Samuel. Maybe George Osborne is literally the absolute fucking dirt worst. But again, for Keir Starmer to be such a Machiavellian monster and also be so boring and dull and scripted, he's just the confluence of all of the worst possible qualities of all of the worst kinds of politicians.
Yeah, he's not great. I'm not a fan. I think I've definitely decided. Not a fan. Oh, Jesus Christ. Should we do Bobby
Shall
J?
we? Yeah, let's do some Honest Bob.
Okie doke. Let's scroll through this boring shite.
Also, by the way, if you're enjoying the content today, you can, of course, super chat to get your message through to either me or Kev, as Vicky has done already in chat to help support the stream. You can also become a member for only 99p. It's cheaper than a can of Red Stripe. And you can gift memberships to your fellow YouTube viewers. Memberships get you access, in my case, the archive live streams. Kevin, all those are available. But you also, on both of our channels, if you become a member or you get gifted membership, you get access to all of our special member-only emotes in the YouTube chat, which I'm sure will be displayed above my head by the chatters right now.
Indeed.
Currency billionaire, which he didn't declare. He says it was a personal gift. But as we've been discussing, the Sunday Times today alleges that Mr. Farage may have broken parliamentary rules partly by taking benefits from a man called George Cottrell, one of his close allies, who's been convicted of fraud in the US. The paper claims that Cottrell paid for staff, security, and let Mr. Farage stay in an...
How much fucking security does this guy have? He had 5 million from a different billionaire for security, and now he's got fucking Posh George buying him security as well. Has he got SEAL Team 6 on him, or what?
expensive townhouse near Buckingham Palace. MPs have to declare donations in cash or in kind so that you know who's paying. Reform says the story is baseless. Robert Jenrick from the party.
And it's so annoying to me that that's still just accepted. That's the way it's done. That as long as they state who's bought them, it's fine to buy them. No, it's fucking not. Can we have politicians who aren't bought and paid for, please? Actually,
no. It's like a public service, like donating to charity, according to Wes Streeting.
And if there's one person I like and admire and trust, it's Wes Streeting. Please don't clip that out of context.
His Treasury spokesman is with us in the studio this morning. Thank you very much for...
Oh, is that the former Conservative member of the government, Robert Jenrick? Is that the guy? Oh, okay.
He stood up in Parliament and says, where are we now after 2 years? And someone goes, you're in a different party.
Literally.
Coming in.
Good morning.
So we just want to get clear about some facts in this story here. Did Nigel Farage stay at that townhouse near Buckingham Palace, which costs thousands of pounds a month?
Well, just to be clear, George Cottrell is an old friend of Nigel Farage's.
I don't care.
According to Lewis, George Cottrell was with Nigel Farage in America when he was arrested for money laundering. And when he was arrested by the FBI in a sting operation about a drug deal, he tries to blackmail the FBI people posing as drug dealers, because that was the plan all along. He wasn't interested in drug dealing, he was interested in blackmailing drug dealers, not realising this was an FBI sting operation, which is how he got caught, which is genuinely fucking hilarious.
Only the smartest people in Reform.
He did give support to Nigel before he was a member of Parliament. He hasn't done so since he became a member of Parliament. No rules have been broken whatsoever. This is basically a very old story that has been dredged up by the Sunday Times, which is a Labour supporting newspaper.
Oh, you can tell he was a Tory, can't you? Good Lord.
Which is, well, the thing is, if he was a Tory, he would know that the Sunday Times is the Tory house newspaper.
Literally, yeah.
That's always been the case,
Yeah.
especially since it became owned by Rupert Murdoch, or now Lachlan Murdoch, I guess. Is running News Corp now. Yeah, it's the Tory paper.
Yeah.
It's attacking Reform because you're taking votes away from the Tories, who they want to be in government, because you're not a Tory anymore.
In order to try and drag Nigel down. And
I'd like you
it's
to...
not going to succeed.
I'd like you to...
I think it is. I actually think it is. I for the first time in the last couple of weeks, it's crystallised. I'm really not sure he'll even be there as the leader for the next election.
I mean, they can go one of two ways. Either it will literally become too much and too many people will see him for the piece of shit that he is. Or it will become this martyr narrative about how the establishment's out to get him, and he'll use that as a recruitment tool for disaffected people, which again, lots of Reform base is already disaffected, so I feel like he'd be able to save stuff with that, but I don't think it's enough of a base to be able to win an election.
No.
So if Reform do want to win, it might be the case that this would be the straw that broke the camel's back. And I don't know, but maybe there's somebody very close to home who might be the heir apparent to Nigel Farage.
True, and if there's anything going to kill that party, it's Robert Jenrick. Because no one likes him. Why would you like him? He's fucking horrible.
Engage, though, in the specifics about this story. There are new allegations, as you say. People have known for a time that George Cottrell and Nigel Farage are friends, but there are new claims in the newspaper this morning. Did Nigel Farage stay in that townhouse that's being rented by George Cottrell?
I believe Nigel has said that he stayed a couple of times there, very infrequently.
Why have they shown the Bukaki one? Why have they gone with that?
The girl who threw the milkshake over him is a mutual of mine on Twitter.
Oh, no way. So he's got
Yeah.
friends in high places.
I do have friends in high places, and honestly, she's Slay. Honestly, what else can you say other than Slay?
Is she part of the lactose tolerant left? I thank you.
You're allowed to. I mean, Nigel Farage is allowed to have friends. As a politician, you're allowed to stay at a friend's house. And certainly remember, Nigel was not an elected politician. He was, if you like, an ex-politician at the time. He was somebody in the private world. who,
She knows all of the movers and milkshakers. Oh, come on now. Come on now. That's good. That's good.
Also, by the way, Robert Jenrick,
Yeah.
he can't be an ex-politician. He was never elected. He was never an MP, right? So he's not that. But
Well, he was
I
a
know
member of the
I-
European Parliament.
oh, he had a pretend job. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Which he never turned up for anyway, but yeah.
That's also true. That's also true. Like, how can he be an ex-politician when he was the chairman of Reform UK when Richard Tice was leader?
Yeah.
Just because he wasn't the figurehead doesn't mean it wasn't his vanity project.
Yeah.
He was the major shareholder in Reform PLC because up until very recently it was a limited company, not a political party. He's
And-
always been part of the
yeah.
machinations here.
And you can tell it was always his little thing, because as soon as he wanted to, he got little fucking cock Tice to stand down, and he was the leader again. So, like, he was always in control.
Exactly. And also on top of that, as someone points out in chat, like, you're allowed to have friends, but like none of mine are convicted criminals. And that's again another point, right? Like, you can be friends with convicted criminals, you know, people can be rehabilitated, you know, but we probably would expect more scrutiny of the friendships of our elected politicians than random people on the high street. And on top of this, didn't these people also correctly criticize Peter Mandelson as an appointment because of his relationships with Deripaska and Epstein and China and all that kind of stuff, right? It was his bad friends that made Peter Mandelson a bad person in the eyes of Reform, and correctly, because I think most people would agree with that. But somehow that same scrutiny applied to Nigel Farage is unwarranted.
Yes.
who was not even considering standing for Parliament. He'd ruled it out, and this was a friendship that he had with someone who was helping him. So I honestly don't see what the story is here,
Also,
other than just yet another attempt
Pause.
by certain.
Even if we believe the bullshit that he's trying to sell us, that he had decided not to stand for Parliament and only changed his mind for clamouring from other people, rather than a very tactical decision he made himself as to whether or not he thought Reform UK would be a spoiler for the Tories or a replacement for the Tories. If they're a spoiler, he deals with it in absentia. If it is a new party to replace them, he would become the figurehead, right? It was clearly a tactical move because he saw the rise of Reform being able to usurp the Tories. He wanted his position as a politician to be able to lead that movement, right? That's why he changed his mind. Even if you believe what Robert Jenrick is saying, that doesn't change the fact that when you do change your mind and you do become an elected politician, that you follow the rules and you declare the donations from 12 months before you get elected.
Yep.
He knows what those rules are. You get briefed on these things when you first get elected to Parliament, because this is the first time he's been a member of Parliament. So he knows that. He knows he should have declared it because it was within 12 months of him becoming elected, and he didn't. And that's what the problem is here.
Yeah, and if the Standards Committee is to mean anything, they do have to find him guilty, surely.
I mean, if Boris Johnson can get done for it, then surely Nigel Farage can.
Yeah.
Also, thank you, Adam Gordon, for the £10. I don't want to be friends with convicted people. I agree. And Vicky Clee making the point I made about Peter Mandelson, another man who was not an MP when he stayed at a quote-unquote friend's house.
Yes. Yum, yum.
Parts of the media to try and
But there are
muckrake about
two-
somebody
but the two very-
who is actually
Also-
trying to shake up the system.
Also, I've just noticed Robert Jenrick's left hand is shaking quite considerably.
I mean, again, that's why they haven't stumped up Nigel Farage for this interview. You know, like, they all realise how dangerous this stuff is. And also worth pointing out, like, it's not just George Cottrell that's a problem here. What about Sasan Gandhari? Christopher Harbon, we've already kind of trawled through as well. And there are other people in that circle who are also less than reputable individuals with dodgy connections. Not necessarily illegal connections, but should we call them red flags?
Yeah.
And not the good kind.
And challenge the status quo.
There are two very important facts, though. During this period in 2024, Nigel Farage was the honorary president of Reform UK. He was still this very big political figure.
So, kind of a politician then.
Look, he was the majority shareholder.
Yeah.
It was a publicly limited company. You know this, Laura. Do your job.
Well, he wasn't a
And
member
the
of Parliament.
rules about say very clearly that people who become MPs should declare things that were registered, any benefits to them in the 12 months before their election.
Well,
That's the rule. That is the
Laura,
rule.
You
So I'll
have,
just
you have omitted the second half of the rule, which is that you don't have to declare things where they're purely personal.
Mm-hmm.
And the allegation, if you like, that you've put to me is
Mm-hmm.
that Nigel Farage, maybe a couple of times, I don't know precisely,
It literally is shaking. I don't know if that's a medical condition. I hope I'm not being ableist here, but like his left hand is like jittering.
Quite. Also, on top of this as well, he says they only have to be declared if they're not personal. Well, the rules also state if there's any ambiguity as to the personal nature of those gifts, they should be declared, right?
Yeah.
Again, no one just gets given £5 million because they're mates.
Yeah.
No one gets given all of this money as George Cottrell has done to Nigel Farage just as an unconditional gift. That just doesn't happen.
Well,
No one
exactly.
gets something for like you'd have thought right wingers would understand the concept of not getting something for nothing.
You would think so, yes. It's almost like it's benefits for some, but not for all. Right? Yeah, exactly. It's not just about the letter of the law. Whenever they get into this, well, technically the rules haven't been broken. Firstly, the rules are set by cunts like you anyway, so I don't give a fuck about the rules particularly. And secondly, surely we can ask for a little bit more than just the absolute letter of the law. If you want to be Prime Minister, show some willing to be transparent.
And again, this is what Keir Starmer said when the reality of the Giftgate came up.
Yeah.
When we knew about everything that's happening with Wahid Ali and the Labour Party, when we knew what's happening in terms of donors, when we knew about the £700,000 Labour Together got from all of those CEOs and financiers and bankers and Zionists, like, people didn't just think that this was money being given in kind for no reason. We knew that there was a quid pro quo here. Everyone on the right was correctly saying that Keir Starmer wouldn't be just given this stuff for free for nothing. It was for influence or for some kind of back-scratching back, which was why these things were done. We know this to be the case, and you made that criticism of Keir Starmer at the time correctly. So why would we not accept it about Nigel Farage?
Yeah.
Stayed in the home of a personal friend.
and does he still
So
stay there?
by definition, that does not fall within the rules.
Does he still stay there?
Okay, pause.
Not as far as I'm aware, but
It's also not outside of the rules to stay at the house of Jeffrey Epstein, but you still correctly criticised Peter Mandelson for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're allowed to stay at the home of a personal friend. It feels to me, Laura, as if parts of the media, particularly those who are desperate for there to be a Labour government, want to try to constantly smear Nigel because he is at the moment leading in the...
No, it's those who want a Tory government. There isn't really a press that wants a Labour government outside of maybe the Mirror and the Guardian, I guess. But virtually all of them are Tory papers, which you should know because you've written in several of them.
polls.
And
He
you've-
has
and
done
you've made
on
that point.
350
And you've made that
occasions.
point, and
But
I'd like
if
you
I may
to-
make this point,
Mm-hmm.
what is their primary motive? It's because Nigel is the only person who is going to bring about real change in this country.
By making us a sweatshop.
Yeah, and on top of that, like, what's the interest of the papers? I don't know, to sell copies? To sell subscriptions, to get AdSense revenue?
Yeah.
That's all they care about. Like, these are profit-making entities. People want to do these stories because people will read them because it's interesting, because it gets clicks.
Yeah.
If they stopped doing that, they'd go out of business.
I'm reminded of whenever they do this, it's about this going to change the country. I'm reminded of the old thing about Hitler, not the member of Parliament for Islington North, but the former Chancellor of Germany, who he once famously said that give me 10 years and you won't recognise Germany. And as the people of Germany looked out across their shattered cities, they thought to themselves, he was right.
Who is going to tackle the issues that the cosy consensus of politicians, Labour and Conservative, and much of the media have neglected to for a long time.
Our motive
Why
this
are
morning,
people's
Robert
bills
So
Jenner,
you
is
mean
to
you-
get a
through the roof?
specific
There
answer
are
to a
ways you could
specific
go.
Yeah. Very much
You
so.
neglected it when you were a Tory government minister.
Yeah.
The immigration minister, no less, who boasted about the hotels that he'd opened.
Yeah, yeah.
questions.
Immigration is out of control. Nigel's the only person.
And I should know because I made it out of control. Pyromaniac to become fucking fire safety officer. Cool.
who has the courage and conviction to fix these challenges. That's why people are scared of him.
There's no secret that George Cottrell's been a personal friend of Nigel Farage for a long time. But the allegations of this morning is
Yeah,
that he...
it's okay if it's corruption, if it's a close personal friend that's doing the corruption with you. Yeah, it's fine.
Corruption is not bad. Corruption is only bad if I'm not involved. But if I'm part of that corruption, I'll defend it.
If me and my close personal friend are involved, I defend it.
He's done much more than a normal personal friend was done, that he has given him use of an expensive townhouse in London, and also that he has paid for Nigel Farage's staff and his security. So I'd like you to address these specific questions. Did George Cottrell pay for any of Nigel Farage's staff in 2024?
Before he became a member of Parliament. Yes, absolutely.
He did.
And that's but this is important, but you're sort of papering over that. That's a very important point. You know, you're allowed to accept a gift, support, whatever you want to call it, from a personal friend before you're a member of Parliament, if it's in a purely personal capacity. So there is absolutely...
How is his staff, as a leader of a party, purely personal?
This is 2024. This is when he was the leader of the party as well.
Yeah.
Even if it was before, even when he was the majority shareholder of the party, yeah, that's still a big role in terms of being essentially the owner of Reform UK PLC.
Yeah. And like he was going around giving speeches all the time. So his staff and his security were not a personal concern. Obviously. Or not purely a personal concern. They're very much a political element to them.
Nothing to see in this story.
What's a personal capacity when it is staff creating social media content?
Well, when you're a GB News presenter and you've just been on The Jungle, you do create social media content.
Okay.
That's nothing to do with his job as a Member of Parliament, because he wasn't
Yes,
a Member
it
of
is.
Parliament.
Yeah, it is.
He said he wasn't going to become a Member of Parliament.
Yeah, he lied, we know, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, like these things were being done as political stunts, right? To be able to generate clicks and generate exposure. People viewed Nigel Farage as a politician because that's what he was introduced as, and he talked a lot on I'm a Celebrity about politics.
Yeah.
So, I completely respect your right to ask these questions, but what's actually going on here is something bigger than this. It's that day after day, parts of the media are putting these stories forward, and they're not working. Why are they not working? Because millions of people in this country see, as I do, a country that is in dire straits, in need of radical change. They know
Robert
that the Tory party...
Well, ironic that he's talking about dire straits given that he's got so much money for nothing.
Boom!
I thank you.
Killed it. What absolute banger.
The Labour Party are not going to deliver that. They know that Nigel is the man who's going to do it because he has been fighting this fight for 25 years.
But Robert Jenrick, you yourself said recently that there were legitimate questions around Nigel Farage's financial
Well, I said that
arrangements.
journalists can ask questions.
Right,
sure.
so let's try and
But-
get some
but
more
these are-
answers.
Oh, thanks. Journalists can ask questions. Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Thank you, Robert, for deigning that freedom.
To be fair, Laura Kingsburg, award-winning journalist that she is, was probably unaware of this fact.
Well, no, she is aware that you can ask questions. She's just unaware that you don't have to send them to the person before the interview.
True.
These are not
Let's try.
legitimate questions
You can of course answer them in
no
any way you
rules have
wish.
been broken
But
here.
did George Cottrell pay for Nigel Farage's security in 2024?
Before he became a Member of Parliament. Yeah, this is... Reform has been completely open about this. A private citizen who's worried about his own personal security, and by the way, every time Nigel has...
How much is the security? So it was 5 million for security, plus whatever this guy was chipping in for security. I'm sorry, is he Fort Knox? How much fucking security does this cunt need?
And again, private citizen, also the majority shareholder of Reform UK.
Yeah.
raised with the authorities his personal security and that of his family, because without question, he is the most endangered person in public life. The authorities have chosen...
Oh yeah, that milk could do damage to his skin. All of that
and
milk.
also, like, it's not like he's had any Ukrainian rent boys burning his house down or anything.
No, because he pays his. With other people's money, to be fair, but he does pay them.
Proposing to do next to nothing to help him. I think that's a disgrace.
Your money for nothing, Ukrainian pimp boys for free. Oh, I apologise profusely for nothing.
It's perfectly legitimate for a personal friend to offer you security. The question really is, did he need to report this? No, because it was a personal friend and it was before he was a member of parliament. There's nothing to see here.
What's confusing about this,
Laura, are you
George
gonna-
Cottrell?
No, the personal friend thing is not a reason not to tell anybody about it. It doesn't matter if it's a personal friend at all. That's literally irrelevant to the rules.
It's also funny, like, he's gotten so many huge personal gifts given to him by friends, right? That he just can't remember and he's forgotten when it comes to declaring the interest as a member of parliament, right? Like, no one else has this problem, Nigel.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why, but it reminds me of Trudeau in Canada when he was asked how many times he'd blacked up, and he couldn't give a specific number.
It's more than one, apparently.
Which does make you think, if you've done it so many times you can't remember how many times you've done it, you've done it quite a lot then. And if Nigel Farage can't remember exactly which £5 million donation he's had, it does suggest he's I think there is the Switzerland might collapse under the weight of the bullion he's stashing there.
This interview,
I'm-
asking
I
about
want-
this rather than the
what's
issues that people
confusing-
really care
What's
about.
confusing about this issue
Well, no,
of security-
clearly people do care about politicians taking millions of pounds, actually. I know that's a crazy concept to you as a Tory, but, you know, corruption is a bit of an issue, actually.
That is what's funny, because again, the Tories just live in this world where millions of pounds just gets thrown around all the time, right? That they don't realise how crazy it looks to any normal individual in the country.
Yeah.
security.
Because these are the kinds of people who will spend as much on a bottle of champagne as the average person earns in a year. Like, they have no concept of like, what normality even is.
That Nigel Farage said that the money from Christopher Harborne was for his personal security.
But that came after this, Laura.
So
that came after
you are
this.
convinced that absolutely nothing has gone wrong here.
Absolutely.
That was a different piece of corruption, Laura. Please keep up. It's a totally different piece of corruption. Please.
No rules have been broken. This is, I'm afraid, a very old story that has been dredged up by the Sunday Times, which supported the Labour Party at the last election.
But the problem...
And let me ask this question. When you've got a new Prime Minister coming in 2 weeks' time, about whom we know next to nothing, you know, you've had a...
Firstly, the way he says nothing is very annoying. I've never noticed that about him, but I know it's like a car alarm. I can't not hear it. And secondly, we know loads about Andy Burnham. We just don't know his policies particularly. But he's not like a non-entity. He was in government before.
Yeah, former minister, right?
Yeah.
You're a minister. Robert generally knows what a minister is. He used to be one himself, the immigration minister under the Tories.
Yeah, at least Andy Burnham is still in the same party. Yeah.
A bit of a debate on the programme today, but none of the questions are answered about what his agenda is for this country. Why is the Sunday Times and the media establishment not prosecuting
The
the
problem
case
that
on
you
Andy
have
Burnham,
here, well,
not these
we've
things?
already been discussing Andy Burnham for at least
Well,
half an
well,
hour
let
on
me
the
just say this
programme.
about
But no,
Andy
I want to
Burnham.
ask the problem for you.
I'm on the programme today to warn your viewers that Andy Burnham is going to raise their taxes. We've already had £66 billion of tax raises, and remember, Keir Starmer, Rachel Reeves said they would.
What happened when you were in government, Rob? What happened there, mate? Was taxes really low when you were in government? Did that happen? Oh no, the opposite of that happened. Oh, okay.
Wouldn't do this. They broke their promises. We've got Andy Burnham already intimating that he's going to hike taxes. He's not prepared to cut the ballooning benefits.
No, but it's okay because each taxpayer is a close personal friend, so it's not a problem.
Also, on the subject of breaking promises, what about your promise to the members to the electorate of Newark that you'd be a Conservative Party MP?
Yeah.
Bill to pay for defence, to pay for the things that our country needs, like better public services. Taxes are going to go up. He has no mandate for that. If he wants to do that,
Yes,
have
he
a general
does.
election.
Yeah.
Test that with the British public. Don't just do it by the back door.
I mean, it's not clear, as you say, what he would do around tax. Well, he said that there is
Well,
room
he's
for
already said.
manoeuvre, was his,
Well, I can assure you,
his
there
phrase.
isn't room for tax increases. We've got tax at record highs. People's wages are stagnating. Bills are going through the roof. Good jobs are being lost. There's 1 million young people
But
who
on
are
an-
out of work and not even in training. This country is going down and down and down.
On one of
That's
the
why
spe-
we need reform.
In an earlier round, and sugar, we're going down swinging. Sorry, I'm just doing musical references tonight for no reason.
On one of the
That is why
specific-
the establishment are trying to stop us.
on one of the
I love
specifics
that.
that
Right?
Andy
Imagine
Burnham
saying
has
such a
said.
phrase in that accent. And that's why the establishment. Yes, you know, yeah.
Yeah, you're privately educated, and so is your leader, and you're both former Tories, but you're anti-establishment, you know. Definitely, yeah.
Former government minister, the anti-establishment candidate.
Yeah.
He said that he would cut taxes for small hospitalities, for pubs, for other small retailers. Would you oppose that?
Well, that is small beer. Look what's actually
No,
happening.
but would you oppose it? Is that you're,
Well, look,
you're
if,
saying
if he's going to do
Robert
something,
Jennings,
if
you're
he's
saying
going to do
let's debate the
something, my
specifics.
point is this:
Would you
he wants to
oppose
make
that?
a tiny change, as I understand it, a 20% cut. For sure, we'd support that, but we want to go miles further than that. Rachel Reeves has battered hospitality businesses with increases in business rates.
No,
with
she
massive
hasn't.
hikes in
No.
employers' national.
Hospitality got a cut in their rateable values from Rachel Reeves. What increased the value is landlords and corporate landlords at that, right? Corporate real estate companies pushed up rents, which increased the level to which the rateable values affect the business rates.
Yep. It was greedy bastards being greedy that fucked it for everyone, as always.
Insurance. And remember, Reform is the only party.
Honestly, I genuinely think most of the problems in the country would be alleviated, if not solved, by just getting rid of landlords.
They're waste.
Yeah,
They're
they're
toxic waste.
Yeah, like it's just good money being pumped into the pockets of the least deserving, least hardworking, parasitic
productive.
fucks in the country.
That has promised to reverse Rachel Reeves' increase in employers' national insurance for British workers.
So you would
paid
support
for,
that?
Paid for
No,
by
but
a
it's not
levy
done on
migrant labour.
British
to push
workers.
British business.
It's national insurances on employers.
businesses to employ British workers. And today, we're going further than that. We're saying when the British government procures things, like defence, for example, they should back British businesses. Scrap the nonsense the last Conservative government created, the social value test, and have two very simple principles. Is it good value for money for the hard-pressed British taxpayer? And is it going to lead to more jobs for British businesses?
Okay,
A reform
pause.
government, and here's the big difference.
What you're describing there is a contradiction. Will it be cheap for the government and will it be built in Britain? Well, if the answer to the second question is yes, the answer to the first question will be no, right? There's a reason why our government buys shit from China is because it's cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, it was so maddening to me that, like, for years and years we used as much coal as we had previously. We don't that much anymore, thankfully, but we used so much coal, but it was so much cheaper to get it from China that the coal industry just fucking died. Well, and the Tories wanted to kill it, but it was literally just, it was pounds on the pennies on the pound to just get it from China. So we got it from China.
Yeah.
We were still using it. Like, you can't, if you build things in Britain, or if you build them in America or whatever, if you build them in the West, you can't compete with the slave wages they pay Vietnamese workers.
And also the currency values, right? Like, the pound has been historically strong, as the sterling used to be the reserve currency, and the dollar is currently the reserve currency. They're two of the strongest currencies in the world. Therefore, the exchange rate means that it's just that much more expensive to employ British people to do it than to employ it elsewhere in the world, right? Like, and China knows this, which is why they deliberately devalue their own currency to boost their exports.
Literally, yeah. Were you unaware, Chatter, that Miriam Bialik was a Zionist? Because she literally wrote a kid's book about how it was good to bomb Palestinians. She literally did
Baby's
that.
first genocide.
Yeah, it was. What was it called? The Rockets Glow or something like that. And it was
crazy stuff. And like, what was funny? The funniest bit that Mayim Bialik bit was they said these people with anti-Zionist T-shirts came up to me in front of my children. her adult
Yeah.
18 and 20-year-old children.
Yeah, she literally did that. She was speaking as if they were toddlers, and I was like, okay, I can understand that being intimidating. And then you look into it, and they're like, they're both adults. So what happened was a person in a t-shirt walked near 3 adults, and I'm supposed to care about that, you know? Yeah. I think she co-founded it, not wrote. Oh, okay. Well, I saw her pimping out a children's book about how it's good to genocide Palestinians, which is pretty gross. It's not. That's like, there's a special kind of evil in trying to get kids into it. I don't know why. It's just the innocence of children, I suppose. But like,
Yeah, but whoa. Clearly, the innocence of her adult children is significantly greater than the innocence of the Israeli children who have to get taught about why the Browns are so inferior.
literally.
Difference with what's gone before them. A reform government will always put the interests of the British people first.
Specifically, British billionaires based in like Thailand. Yeah, those British people.
Apparently, the changes to the electoral law means that no fewer than 3 billionaires are going to change their domicile to the UK, specifically so that they can donate to the Reform Party. One of them, I forgot the name of, it's like triple barrels. The other is Sasan Gandhari, and of course Christopher Harborne is returning to the UK from Thailand to try and get around this new Representation of the People bill, which will ban foreign donations.
Yeah, that's Sasan Gandhari, the Iranian Kazakh, is he?
Kazakh.
Yeah, the Iranian Kazakh British nationalist. Okay. Like, all I'll say is, I can't wait to meet you, Mr. Gandhari, in the camps that your fucking party are going to open. Because trust me, we're both going there for slightly different reasons.
Shouldn't be controversial, but it has been. Social housing, benefits, procurement within government, taxes. Successive governments have always put foreign citizens above British citizens.
And successive
That's clearly not true. Like, that's just a lie, which isn't going to get picked up because we're not dealing with a journalist again.
No.
governments that you were part of as a Conservative
And they
before you
made
left to go
terrible
to
mistakes.
Reform.
Yeah, they, not we, not I, they made terrible mistakes. Nice sleight of hand, you sleazy little bastard.
The tricky thing for you as a party, and we appreciate you coming in this morning, is that allegations about Nigel Farage's finances keep coming. He's already being investigated over a £5 million.
What kind of journalist? We appreciate you coming in. No, you're giving him a platform. He's not there like to for probity's sake. He's not there so that you can do a journalism on him. He gets something out of this. Why are you fawning at his fucking feet? Have some self-respect. Jesus Christ, the fourth estate in this country are so shit.
They're pathetic, isn't it?
It's fucking miserable that you would dare say that to him. He's a member of Parliament. You're supposed to be holding his feet to the fire, not sucking his dick. Fuck's sake. God, they make me angry.
And gift. We know now that he earned £270,000 for 12 hours work. But your message to the country is that you are the party standing up for working people.
But why?
That's a contradiction, is it not? Your
No, I don't-
message is all about working people.
If that
and the
argument
amounts
is-
of
if-
money.
Laura, why are we ahead in 350 opinion polls? Why do all of the polls show that the body of support out there for reform are working people? People who are out there getting up early in the morning, putting in the hours to look after their families. What remains of the Tory party? They're for Belgravia and the super rich. The Labour Party?
Motherfucker, what are you talking about? What was this townhouse he was living in? I'm sorry, was that in the slums, was it? Was that in the East End? No, he was living in, well, not Belgravia necessarily, but a Belgravia-like place within London, I would imagine. If it costs that much to rent it, that's a big-ass fucking house in a nice area.
Exactly.
Don't pretend like, oh, we stand for the people of Sunderland. Don't know how many fucking Iranian Kazakh billionaires there are in Sunderland, mate.
That's for Benefit Street. We are for the 80% in the middle. The people...
benefit street. Honestly, if you died, Robert Jenrick, and I hope that doesn't happen for a very long time, I hope you live a long natural life, but if you died suddenly, I would literally masturbate on you. I would masturbate on your corpse. You fucking
Piss, shit, and cum.
rotten piece of garbage.
He's literally like subhuman, really, isn't he?
He's vermin. Absolute fucking vermin.
Literally. And again, I saw with the 80% in the middle. I didn't realize there was a cryptocurrency exchange in Barnsley.
Clearly there is. Clearly there must be.
Who are finding life tough at the moment. And are you telling me that Nigel Farage doesn't stand up for those people, that his principles have changed? He's been the...
No, his principles haven't changed. He was always a corrupt bastard who stood up for the rich.
Yeah, laundering his failed policies for working people by being able to blame migration, despite the stats not showing that to be the case.
Oh, kickoff has been delayed by an hour because of thunderstorms, which they already knew were going to happen. Thanks,
Yep.
FIFA, for being absolutely fucking terrible at everything, you cucks.
most consistent politician in this country in my lifetime. I was a teenager, let that sink in, a teenager, when Nigel Farage first started to talk about the impact that mass migration would have on working people, undercutting their wages.
And
that was decades before you started doing mass migration as immigration minister, yeah. That's true. Yeah.
And even then, like, that's not how labour markets work. And second of all, there is a significantly more consistent politician than basically anybody in this country.
Yeah.
Consistent at being Hitler.
True. True.
as a
Now,
teenager,
net
you
zero
chose to join the
might
Conservative Party
destroy-
instead.
might destroy
But I just want
heavy
to ask you a
industry in
final
this country.
question.
He's the only man, Laura, who will fix this country and get it back on its feet again.
Some of your colleagues, including the former chair of Reform, a very senior Reform politician, Dr. David Bull, said recently that Nigel Farage should take some time out and have a bit of a break. Is he wrong or right?
Well, I'm all for people having a bit of a break over the summer holidays, but Nigel is the most hard-working politician.
Nobody believes this. He couldn't even spell Clacton. He's been there that little.
Literally, all he does is just swan around having meetings with billionaires. Like, all he does is just, like,
Not
become
true.
like a jizz rag for the Epstein class.
Not true, okay? He also does adverts for bullion.
That's true.
So...
And saying up the rah on Cameo.
Up the rah, Nigel.
I've ever met. He is more determined than ever, and Reform is getting ready for an early general election. We're recruiting our candidates, we're writing our manifesto.
Seriously, the amount of weird tweets we're going to get from these fucking randos. Like, it's going to make Robert Kenyon's fucking analingus tweet look positively mundane, I think.
It really is, isn't it?
It's going to be... Honestly, okay, over under 20 Nazis. Like, out and out, like, literally, like, pictures of them with, like, swastikas doing Zig Heils. Like, not just that, I mean, they're all Nazis underneath, but, like, people who've got, like, tattoos. That sort of thing.
We are building a network across the country with our 300,000 members, and we're building out the platform so that if we're lucky enough to win the next general election, unlike Andy Burnham, unlike Keir Starmer, as we've just heard, we'll be ready to go.
So he's
and
not
we'll
going
actually
anywhere?
fix the country.
He's not going anywhere?
He's not going anywhere. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Robert Jenrick, thank you very much indeed.
Wow, you had to be a passive-aggressive little bitch at the end as well. She gave you the softest ball interview I've ever seen, and you still had to be like, sorry to disappoint you. Oh my god, you fucking bitch!
I hate him. I mean, he's uniquely detestable, isn't he? Like, he's
Yeah.
he definitionally like the most like rat-faced person, and his demeanor is so sinister.
Yeah.
And that's the word that you used to describe Jenrick, like genuinely, really, really sinister.
Like,
the most slimy man.
Well, I hope he becomes Reform leader, because there's nothing more likely to kill that party than this. I mean, he's just Tory boy fucking on crack, you know? Like, he's just an arsehole.
Yeah, real slime ball.
True. Anyway, I mean, we don't even really have to finish, but it is midnight, and
Yeah.
unless there's anything else to say.
No, I think that's basically everything I wanted to talk about. No, there was
Is that true? Reform have lost 120 councillors since May. Fucking hell.
What?
Apparently, yeah. Oh my word.
How many councillors have Reform lost since May? Google, thank you. This is from the Lib Dem peer, Mark Pack, who's a political polling expert. 22 have already departed for one reason or another. 2 gone but then came back again.
What's your source, Comrie? Just give me your source, because you've quoted something there. So what
There's
have you
another
quoted?
18 who've otherwise left. Which looks like 40 to me.
Okay. Kicked out of
Not
the party,
still.
but standing and likely to vote in line with reform anyway. Okay, so not officially left. Oh, okay. Well,
No, but there are 40 that have been elected that are now no longer even councillors.
which is that's ridiculous.
That's very funny.
Yeah. But that's what happens whenever these they're not,
Chances. They're chances.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, I tell you what, there was one that I'm probably gonna do like a standalone video on this 'cause it's crazy, But I saw a tweet earlier today from somebody. There was a graph showing that people's in America, and it's a Yankoid question, but I think it kind of tracks on right-wing ideology more broadly. Like in the United States, Republicans always have a very high level of pride in their country, no matter who is in office. But with the Democrats, right, they see massive slumps in their overall pride to be an American when Donald Trump is the president.
Right.
And the right wing are going fucking crazy as if this shows the Democrats have no principles. They only care about power. And whilst Democrats might do, this also tracks with independents as well, right? And Noah Smith, the worst take haver in history, says anti-Americanism has become a normal consensus view among partisan Democrats, and it's very, very bad. And I'm like, no, what you're seeing here is that normal, well-adjusted individuals are going to judge the country on what it does rather than what it is. And when the country, which the president is a representation of, as they're democratically elected mostly by a majority, is a senile rapist reality TV star in the Epstein files, yeah, I wouldn't be proud of my country either. It is in fact a damning indictment on right-wing politics that their sense of shame is so non-existent they don't feel ashamed that their country elects a man who rapes women and who sends paramilitaries to murder civilians, right?
Yeah. Well, exactly, yeah. Like, I honestly, seeing the 250-year anniversary stuff, you just think, like, what have you got to be that proud about anymore, America?
Fucking Dave and Buster's ass country.
Yeah. The updated departures tracker being circulated at Reform Exposed now lists Tony Nelson as the latest confirmed, with the overall running at 121 entries across 6 categories, or 120 unique names, 1 duplicate. Oh, okay.
Well, there you go.
The breakdown is 21 kicked out, 38 defected, 6 suspended, 1 disqualified, 50 resigned, and 5 who've lost their seat outright. Well, there you go. Yeah. So anyway, they've lost lots. Anyway, actually, talking about the 250, let's end on something that's kind of funny, but also kind of not. But it is kind of funny. Did you see the perfect analogy ever for America?
I think I did.
This is America 2025.
I mean, I saw a tweet which was like, this is what October the 7th would have looked like if Americans had done it.
Yeah. Just lots of squished paratroopers. Yeah.
Well, I'm very glad that he survived Set the Shadow, otherwise it would be quite as funny.
Yeah, no, if he was dead, I wouldn't have shown it.
Yeah, literally, he was showing like snuff films on YouTube, which I don't think is within terms.
No, the person is alive, albeit injured, and are currently receiving the appropriate medical care. Although it's America, so probably not that appropriate. But whatever his insurance will cover. Yes, but that's America in 2025. The soaring eagle crashing into the fucking shitty little gazebo. The gazebo of truth. Okay. Yeah. Let's all think about what we've done here today. I think that's the
and then we'll
best
get
thing.
ready to watch.
Football at
The-
at some point, maybe tonight, but maybe not. Who fucking knows? I mean, if it's thunderstorms and heat, it's going to be like England are going to be running through soup. The fucking
Oh.
Mexicans are going to dance around us.
I do think that England are going to lose this.
Toss of a coin.
I mean, maybe they'll go 2-0 down in the first half and then
And
go
then
back
win.
up to 2-2 in the second half because Thomas Tuchel will change the tactic or something. I don't know.
Well, that's what he does. He's a reactive chap. Okay, who should we go into on the Twitches? I'll send everyone over to left of the box, I think, or yeah, someone
On YouTube, that's where I'm going.
Yeah. Who is going on Twitch? Is there anyone I even vaguely recognise? Why does it never give me like suggestions of anywhere I actually know? Why would I go to some random fucking place? We'll go over to I Am Blakely because they're pretty fucking cool.
They are cool. They are cool indeed.
Yeah. And they're never usually fucking streaming at this time, but for some reason they are. And they've been receiving lots of actual attacks because they were did an interview with the Mamdani Slate, and the New York Post came out and said that they were an evil communoid and the Democrats are communists and all this shit. So yeah, go and say hello to them. I believe it is them as well because they're non-binary. Anyway, and I will see you all possibly tonight, although it depends how the football goes and if I get too drunk. I don't know.
Is your pub's open?
I don't know, but there's a neighbour 3 doors down who's getting wrecked, so we're gonna go there.
Well, there you go.
There's a few of us going there, so
Everything's coming up, Millhouse.
literally. Yeah, okay, and yeah, free Palestine and that.
From the river to the sea.
Indeed.
See you all tomorrow. Goodbye.
Bye.